Yes. It's the Raphael Dawkins with the Combat Radio. Are we live yet? Damn. Waiting for the ping. Waiting for the ping. Okay. So, hello and welcome. Damn, there it is. Okay. So it's the Raphael Dawkins, it's the Combat Radio, and it's the boxing talk with Rafi. 335. Okay. Let's have a look at what's Let's have a look at what's going on here. Let's try and refresh this. All right, let's go back into that. See what we got. No. Not getting the result for that. Okay, we'll come back to that. But in the meantime, let's do a sound check. Okay, let's kill the music. Oh Lord. Okay. No memento. Okay, let's check it out now. Oh Lord. Okay, that ain't no good. No memento. Okay, let's check it. No good. Okay, let's let the music play just a little bit, and we can see how it sounds. Vocals with the music. Got to get the balance right. Let's check again. Let's go. Let's see how it sounds. Yes. Okay. Let's have a little looky. See what's going on. Okay. We got the Cal L up in the building. We got the Leighton Evelyn up in the building. Bright and early. And yeah, what we got here. Salute to the Combat Radio Nation. Hit that like button, share and subscribe, and hit the, where is it? The bell icon. Stay updated with news and notifications. Okay, so let's get into this. Yes. All right, so what are we doing first? First things first. So what am I trying to do here? Oh yeah, we gotta share this out. What's that over there? Let's share this time. We got plenty of likes, bright and early. Okay, let's share this out. Let's go. First of all, let's go to the secret society. Although it seems like the secret society should be the dead society. Maybe it should be called the dead society. Okay, I see that the fight doctor is busy at work. He's asking the pertinent questions. I'll holler at him in a second and tell him that it's going down. It's going down over here. His questions will be answered over here on the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. Okay. I don't even know if I was able to successfully edit the title. It was just before I went live. Let's have a look. Is that good? It's good. Okay, so we shared it there. Let me answer. Hold on. If you just vacate the WBC trinket, jump in. All will be answered. Tune in. All will be answered. All will be answered. Okay, but it's not spelled like that. Answered. Almost forgot how to spell answered. Damn, it's a weird looking word. Okay, but anyway, let's continue to share my shizzle. What's going on there? Yeah, let's share it there. Boom. Okay, that's good. And let's get it on up in here. Okay. All right, that again. All will be answered. Tune in. Okay. Boom. So that's good. Let's drop that. And let's see what's going on in the chat. Let's have a little looky. Did you see Warren's interview on IFL ducking White? Hey, not only did I see it, we're gonna be talking about it. We gonna be talking about it. As a matter of fact, rat-tat-tat-tat. Why don't we share? Who don't say it's Frank Warren? Which one's that? Oh, okay. Let's get it right. Let's get the balance right. Let's get the balance right now. Come on. Come on. Come on, Frank. See Warren interview on IFL. Yeah, we're gonna be getting into that. We're gonna be getting into that later. That's what's the appropriate? Where are we? 9. Looky there. Looky there. Looky there. Let's have a little look. Let's go down. Let's see who's up in here. Let's have a look. It's time for a new era. For a new era for heavyweight boxing. Okay, tell me more. Tell me more. What's your blueprint? What's your blueprint? What's going on? Fish eyes at it again. What's going on? Let's have a little looky. Fury fighting a bomb, not for the WBC belt. Gonna sell it as lineal and ring magazine belt. The guy is a joke. OMG. Fisheye kills boxing sometime, says Mark Doherty. What's this? H money? What? H money boxo. What's that all about? Oh, Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio salute. Yes, yes, yes. Nice to have you up in here, Pigeon. How you doing, mate? Did Fury just vacate his WBC trinket? Hey, well, we're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna be talking about that. Let's not jump the gun. Okay. What's going on? What's going on? Pigeon, why don't you just come in as yourself? Why don't you just come in as yourself, Pigeon? Why are you using somebody else's name? Why are you using somebody else's name? As a matter of fact, rat-tat-tat-tat. Let's just take care of that. Where are we? Okay, damn. How many people have I had to hide from the channel over the years? Yes, years, not months or weeks. Over the years. How many times have I had to do that? What's this here? Okay, let's have a look. Hello.
What's going on, Rafi? It's your boy, H Money, Mr. DAZN.
Hey, H Money. Is that you in the
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I have
sorry.
3.
Sorry,
yeah,
I just blocked you. Let me unblock you. I thought it was the Pigeon. Hold on.
Pigeon been giving you trouble around here.
Pigeon never gives me trouble, man. He's tamed. He's tamed when he comes around here. He knows what He knows how to move. Unhide. Okay, I've unhid you. I thought it was the Pigeon, but it's the real H Money up in the building.
Let's go. Raphael Dawkins, Combat Radio. H Money is here. Leighton Evelyn, my brother.
Leighton Evelyn up in the building. You're on mute, Leighton. You're on mute, Leighton.
What's going on, H? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes,
man.
how you doing, brother?
I'm all right.
We hear you
All
good.
good.
We hear you good. What's this year? The fight doctor looks like he might. OMG. OMG. What happened there? What happened there? What did I do? Oh, damn it. I did something I didn't want to do, but it's okay. It happens from time to time. We can clear that up. We can get it back. How's the screen look now? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. H-Mo-9. Talk to Mike. Talk to Mike.
I'm excited. You know, I'm finally back here on Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. It feels like home every time I'm here, brother. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you know, it's been years. I've been thinking about it. I've been looking back. I've been reminiscing. And do you realize that this thing's been going for years?
Yes, about 3-4 years, right, Rafi?
It's been going for an excess of 3 years, my friend. It seemed like just yesterday.
Bro, that's flown by since you was on the Boxing Voice. Flown by, mate.
It's flown by since I was on the Boxing Voice. It's crazy to me. It's in excess of 3 years. And, you know, woo.
And Rafi, I just want to let you know that we appreciate the hard work and the sacrifice, you know, that you put for this sport of boxing that we love so much, my brother. And you've been doing this for quite some time. I appreciate you as a content creator, my brother. Thank you for uplifting the sport of boxing.
Hey, well, you know, I like to encourage talent. I like to encourage talent. I like to encourage the young guns coming up. You know, people always have a lot to say. Oh, this guy's no good. That guy's no good. But, you know, I like to think I always gave you a fair crack. I like to think I always gave you a fair crack of the whip. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Fury.
Yes, sir.
Fury. Yeah. Come with it. Come with it, H-Money. Come with it. H-Money, you're cutting in and out, my friend. Okay.
Ross. What about now? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So I appreciate the hard work, the time that you spend making these videos, my brother, covering the sport of boxing that we love so much. I feel like, you know, boxing 2021 was a great year. We had some great fights. The year is coming to an end. You know, Usyk beating Anthony Joshua was a great moment. Tyson Fury beating Deontay Wilder, knocking him out again. George Kambosos shocking the world and beating Teofimo Lopez. I think that was a great moment in boxing, and I'm looking forward to 2022. I think it's going to be a big year.
100%, 100%. And Ross Clark says, Fury, Ross Clark, good to have you up in the building. Fury afraid of White. White won't just lay down easy like Wilder did. White ain't gonna lay down.
Raph, I don't think Fury's afraid of White. I don't think he's afraid of him at all. It's all about money, mate. It's all about money. Because you think about it, right? If Fury gets paid, he's got to pay, 10% to Bob, 10% to Frank, 10% to MTK Global. Yeah, let's just pay that. So if he goes 60-40 with White, White's going to walk away with more than him because White haven't got to pay no one. Do you know what I mean?
He's got to pay Eddie. Eddie gets his cut.
Not really. If the fight's on ESPN, you can't pay Eddie nothing. Eddie's not his promoter. If he's only on his own, then he'll have to pay Eddie a cut. But he gets paid because he's his own management team. He's his own thing, isn't it?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think ESPN. I don't think the Warren. I don't think the top ranked side are going to win the bid. If it goes to purse bids, I fancy Matchroom DAZN.
Yeah, if it goes to purse bids, that's what I'm saying. If he agrees to a deal,
it's going to go to purse bids, though, isn't it? I don't think he's going to.
It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. If they offer him 60-40, White might say, fine, it's on BT. But they're not going to offer him that. Then it goes to purse bids. But you can't go to purse bids till he's had his arbitration, and his arbitration have set how much he's going to get. When they tell him the percentage, and that's why he's going to arbitration. Frank Warren said it's being called in March, but that's the latest. It could get called in January, February. So why is he fighting someone else? The only thing is he's not scared. It's money, mate. It's all about money.
H-Money. It's all about the money.
It's all about the money, like the brother Leighton said. The other day I had spoke to my brother Joseph Hearn from War Week Radio Network, and he explained about I guess the split, and they said Bob Arum and Top Rank, they offering Dillian Whyte a certain percentage. Now, what I was told that if Dillian Whyte accepts that offer, which is on the table, it will still be the biggest payday of Dillian Whyte's career, and he gets a shot at fighting for a world title. Why would you refuse that type of fight? It's still your biggest.
Can I cut in a minute
Yes.
just to explain something to you? What I say this is his biggest payday. It's not, because what Fury does, if you've got your own company over here, what you do is you pay your company. Say your company gets paid $3 million, right? You pay your company $3 million, but then you say to yourself, my wages are $300K, so I don't pay the tax on the whole $3 million. Do you know what I mean? And that's what White's doing. When White fights, he gets paid $3-4 million, but it goes to his company. And then out of that, to declare what he'll get paid, he'll say he got paid $300K. So he pays less sanctioning fees, less tax, less everything, because the money goes into the company. And that's what they're doing. But they're trying to use off his wages, because Tyson don't do it like that as a company. Tyson gets taxed more. And that's why they're saying his purse is $300K. His purse is not really $300K, but that's what he's paying himself off his company. Just go ahead, mate. I just
so from what I know, that the offer that's on the table will still be the biggest payday of Dillian Whyte's career, and he gets a shot at fighting Tyson Fury for the WBC Ring Magazine lineal title. He should take it. Take what they give you.
Okay,
you're still going to get your biggest payday. Let me just finish.
Pay him? Yeah, how much are you going to pay?
From what I heard, the rumor is he'll receive up to $5 million if he takes the offer that's on the table.
So you're saying $5 million? What's that? 20%? So the fight's worth $100 million. That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying that. From what I was told,
brother,
let me finish. Yes, brother, just let me finish. From what I was told is that the offer that's on the table that Bob Arum Top Rank is offering right now is still up to $5 million, which is the biggest payday of Dillian Whyte's career. And he gets a shot at a world title, bro. Let's make this clear. Ain't nobody ducking Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte just got knocked out by a 40-year-old Alexander Povetkin. Dillian Whyte got dropped by Joseph Parker, who's considered pillow-fisted. Dillian Whyte got dropped by Oscar Rivas, who's a bridgerweight now. Dillian Whyte always gets dropped. He got dropped by Derek Chisora, for crying out loud. The guy got knocked out twice already. Ain't nobody ducking Dillian Whyte, especially Tyson Fury, who just knocked out Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury, who's the #1 heavyweight in boxing, still undefeated. The only man to hold every belt in the heavyweight division. So, man, if Dillian Whyte wants it, accept the offer and take the fight.
Well,
people trying to push narrative. Go ahead.
Let me break it down like this. So the WBC, Mauricio Suleiman, and Top Rank's Bob Arum, they're talking about Dillian Whyte should get 20%, because when you look at his income, it's far under Tyson Fury's, but that's not the case. If you heard what Leighton Evelyn just outlined, he did it very, very well. So that's just a way to make sure your tax isn't too crazy. You have a company, and that company pays you, but it's your company, so the rest of the money, you understand how that go. So he didn't get paid $300,000 for his last fight. He got paid in the millions, as he has been for some time, headlining cards, PPVs. So that's a kind of a red herring. The WBC Top Rank, they're pushing for 20% for Dillian Whyte, but Dillian Whyte has gone to the arbitrator. So
yeah, that would still be his biggest payday. That 20%. That's what Joseph was explaining to me.
No, but
hold on a second.
Hold on a
second, everybody. Hold on a second, everybody. I ain't really finished. So what's going to happen is the arbitrator will arbitrate, and that the arbitration Arbitrator's decision will become known in March. That's when he'll make his findings known, and the arbitrator is the one who will set the percentage split. Dillian Whyte, Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, they're pushing for 45%. WBC, they're pushing for 20%. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up somewhere in the region of 40%. So, yeah, I think around 40%, that's kind of around the ballpark, around that ballpark figure.
Yeah, so I just want to add to this, like, let's not forget Dillian Whyte just pretty much, pulled out a fight with Otto Wallin. Nobody talks about how Dillian Whyte ducked Otto Wallin and pulled out that fight.
He was injured.
Can I finish, brother? Can I please finish? Now, Dillian Whyte just pulled out of a fight with Otto Wallin the week of the fight, for crying out loud, and never tried to fight him, never tried to renegotiate and make this fight happen with Otto Wallin.
Otto Wallin was just a feeling.
Dillian Whyte blatantly just ducked Otto Wallin, faked the injury, and nobody's talking about it. Okay, if anybody is a duck here, it's Dillian Whyte.
Let Nevin, your response.
Yeah, well, it's not a duck if he's injured. It can't be. And on top
of that,
why
he didn't renegotiate the
fight? Let me speak. Let me speak. It's not a duck because he was injured. And on top of that, it wasn't it was a voluntary. It wasn't a mandatory. Dillian Whyte was giving him an offer just to fight him to kill time. He didn't have to fight him. There's no commitments, no nothing.
So why he didn't fight him?
Giving him a chance. It was because he got injured.
So why he didn't renegotiate and make the fight? Why didn't he reschedule the fight? Because he can't beat Otto Wallin, bro.
Let me talk.
He's not going to beat Otto Wallin, and the dude clearly ducked Otto Wallin, bro.
Let me have my speak. Let me speak now, right?
Okay, but I'm about to step out. Yo, I'm going to go. Shout out to Raphael. I just wanted to say hi. Shout out to Leighton Evelyn. Dillian Whyte ducked Otto Wallin. H-Money is out.
No, he never.
Okay, thank you, H-Money. We're going to dispel the myths. We're going to dispel the myths that you just spewed, my friend. It's a total and utter nonsense. What actually happened was that Dillian Whyte obtained an injury. He showed proof of the injury. And why not reschedule the fight? Well, two reasons. One, Otto Wallin was offered an alternate fight against Babic, I believe, which he declined. So therefore, the obligation ends. And that's B. But it was made clear that Dillian Whyte was now the mandatory to fight Tyson Fury. So why the hell would he be fighting Otto Wallin when he just been mandated to fight Tyson Fury? Complete and utter nonsense.
And another thing, he was getting paid a lot more to fight Dillian Whyte than he did when he fought Tyson Fury.
He was getting paid. Sorry, who was getting paid?
Otto Wallin was getting paid a lot more to fight Whyte than he did get paid to fight Fury. So that's why you saw, because it was his chance to get back in it. But it was completely up to Whyte. And then when Whyte's, like you said, he's mandated for this next fight. Why are you going to fight someone when the world champion belt's there in front of you? Come on, common sense.
It's ridiculous, complete and utter nonsense. And in comes the man like Dan the Man Boxing. Dan the Man, how do you do?
What's happening, man? Good introduction.
Well, you know how we do it. You know how we've been doing it for years. Dan the Man, I was just thinking before I went live. Do you realize the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio has been going for years? Seemed like just yesterday when I was doing my first live.
Yeah, seemed like a long time, but yeah, you've been doing it for a while, bro. I have to say, you're still in there despite the trials and tribulations, as you want to put it, but you're still here, man. You're still found things. I gotta commend you for that. I know everybody's reacting to the Frank Warren interview. I did get a chance to look at it. My question is, did Fury officially vacate the belt?
No.
Okay. He's not vacated.
Okay.
Let me explain to you, Dan. What he's doing is he can't get a fight with Dillian because Dillian's in arbitration, so they can't agree on the split until arbitration. But Frank Warren is saying that that Tyson needs to fight now. So what he's going to do is fight, but not for the WC belt. He's going to fight just for the Ring Magazine and the Lineal. So he's going to pick some bum to fight for that, but he's not dropping the belt. The belt's just not on the line.
Yeah, you know what? Let me just say this: it's a rarity, extreme rarity, because it's been done in the past by many past champions. Roberto Duran has done it. He's fought in non-sanctioned title fights before. Ray Leonard. I mean, everybody's done it, but it's a rarity that's happened in this day and age. But let me just say this, man. Even though they haven't officially announced that they're going to vacate the belt, but the signs were there. I got announced because when Fury beat Wilder the third time, he was asked about Dillian White. He said, "I'm not thinking about that fight right now. I might just think about retiring because that fight took a lot out of me, meaning the third Wilder fight." So it seems to me that they're not keen on taking that White fight. It doesn't seem like it at all. It seems like, given the fact that Fury's got one last fight left on the contract, so they're going to try to find a way to milk it. That's just the way I see it. So.
Great shout, mate. I forgot about that last fight with ESPN. Great shout, that.
Yeah, that's a damn good shot. Whoa. Where's that? Oh, okay. What's going on there? Okay, hello? You're good now. Yep.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, as I was saying, though, they're probably going to wait on the winner between Joshua and Usyk rematch. So that's probably what they're trying from the look. So, but yeah, like I said, the bottom line, they're trying to milk that last fight on the contract. And unfortunately, I don't think Dillian White will be the fight for them to milk it. That's the way they see it. Because you have to look at it in one angle. The ESPN's going to want that fight here in the States, not anywhere else, unless it's Saudi Arabia, I guess. I don't know, but that's just my take.
Okay, down the man, we could barely hear you, my man. I think the I don't know if it's your signal. It says you got a full signal, but you weren't. It wasn't very, very clear. It wasn't very, very clear. But we did get the gist of it. Okay, so before I bring in the fight, doctor, let me just explain the situation as it stands, as I understand it. Okay, so Tyson Fury will not, according to Frank Warren, Tyson Fury will not. Oh, can we hear from the man himself? Where is it? Where was he at? The 4-minute 30 mark, something like that. Okay, let's. Okay, folks. Let me know if the audio is not clear. Let me know if there's any issues with the audio. Let's go. Hold on a second. Let me just take Frank Warren off the screen. I don't want any issues, but let's have a listen to it here. Tell me if there's any issues. Okay, take it away, Frank Warren.
He won't be defending his WBC title. There's a problem there.
Be headlined by Tyson Fury.
One of those shows will feature him. He won't be defending his WBC title. There's a problem there. Not of our making, or his making, I should say. WBC and Dillian White are in arbitration. That hearing is not set to be heard until March. We can't negotiate. It's all very well, Eddie Hearn, these nonsense about negotiating. How can you negotiate when the WBC haven't said what the splits are? So in his mind, he thinks he's getting 45%. In our mind, it's 20%.
That could take forever, couldn't it?
Well, that's when the hearings, the deadline is for the hearings. So I understand it's in March, but it's not. This has nothing to do with our side of the table. We're innocent parties, and this is not our thing. This is
Okay. I hope you heard it. Hope you heard it. Okay. Did you hear it? Okay. Hello, more calling Orson. Did you hear the audio? Okay.
Yeah, it was fine, Raf.
Okay, cool. So what Frank Warren is saying, let me kill the suspense. What Frank Warren is saying is not that they will never fight Dillian White. He's basically saying they're going to take a warm-up fight. They're going to take a warm-up fight around March time. I think what's going to happen is Tyson Fury is going to negotiate, or Bob Arum is going to negotiate with the WBC. And I think how it's going to work out, how it's going to shake out is that the WBC will allow, may may allow Tyson Fury a voluntary. They may allow Tyson Fury a voluntary while the situation with Dillian Whyte is being clarified by the arbitrator. That's one possibility. Another possibility is that the WBC will say, no, you've been mandated to fight Dillian Whyte, and so you have to fight him. If you don't fight him, we're going to strip you. That's another option. So it's a question of option A or option B. Two options, two possibilities. Okay, so the Fight Doctor, come on in.
Fight Doctor's in the house on Rick James status, as always. So it seems to me like the issue is money and Tyson Fury's contract. So if it goes to purse bid, then obviously there's the chance that Top Rank would be outbid. And then in such a case, Tyson Fury would still have a fight remaining, or the fight that he would still owe Top Rank should Top Rank lose the purse bid, and the fight would go through with whomever would win the purse bid. So it seems like it's a money issue and an issue with Tyson Fury's contract. And so I guess Dillian Whyte doesn't want to accept the chump change that Top Rank is offering. But, I think this is probably smart for Dillian Whyte. He should press, in my opinion, to get as much money as he can. Because I don't think that Top Rank wants to let this go to purse bid. I don't think Tyson Fury wants to let this go to purse bid. And in the event that Fury should lose his designation as a WBC champion, then what would happen in the case that Dillian Whyte and Deontay Wilder would fight? Would the purse split be 50-50? Would it be 60-40, 70-30 in Whyte's favor? I mean, how does that work? But either way, I think yes, sir.
Fight Doctor, if Fury vacates, Dillian Whyte, I don't know why everyone's saying he's got to fight Wilder. He haven't. He'll become automatic champion, and he could go straight in for the Fury Joshua winner. So I don't know why everyone's saying Deontay Wilder. He won't have to fight Deontay Wilder. He's interim champion. It's like Devin Haney. You get elevated straight to champion.
Okay, then that answers.
Yeah, but that's if the WBC swoops in and say, okay, you got to order. We'll make you champion, but if we order you to fight the mandatory challenger, you got to fight the challenger if you want to keep the title. That's if the WBC doesn't involve. I was just saying.
Yeah, you are right. WBC makes it up as they go along, so they could do what they want. But the rules are he will be made straight to champion, and then he ain't. And if you got a mandatory call, he's still got a year to fight the mandatory. So I knows what Dillian Whyte would obviously do. He'd fight the winner of Joshua and Usyk because they'd want to be undisputed, and Tyson Fury would cut himself out of the whole picture.
Well, my thing is to hold on, Fight Doctor. To your point, though, good point. Well, the thing is, to my fear is that there's going to be another discrepancy with the WBC when it comes to that franchise status, because I have every reason to believe that Fury is going to be the franchise champion, and then he's going to walk around talking about I'm the real champion, not you. So now we're going to have this other discrepancy about undisputed if it gets to that point. So that's what I see happening. Is that he's going to be the franchise champion again. Watch.
Okay, so let us bring in Ross Clark. Ross Clark, how you doing? Okay, there's issues sometimes when people come in with the muting and the unmuting. So just gonna give Ross Clark a moment. What's going on there? Oh, dropped off. Maybe it's a signal issue. Okay, so as I understand it, yeah, Dillian Whyte, according to the WBC rules, under these circumstances, Dillian Whyte would be made. If Tyson Fury vacated, Dillian Whyte would be made champion. Ross Clark. Okay, little technical issue with the mute button, I suspect. Ross Clark still there. Little issue with the mute button. Okay, when you When you unmute, Ross Clark, come on in. Okay, so as I was saying, so Dillian Whyte could be made if Tyson Fury vacates. Dillian Whyte could, under WBC rules, be made champion immediately, much like
Here, I have a question.
in the Devin Haney situation. Yeah.
Quick question. So, in the event that Fury would get stripped, or in the event that he would petition and be awarded the franchise champion status, would then Dillian Whyte inherit Tyson Fury's mandatory?
Inherit? No, you don't inherit.
No, he is the mandatory.
He's the mandatory. So he's the mandatory. So
true, but yeah, he's the mandatory.
Final eliminator for the mandatory. They haven't got another mandatory. For someone else to be mandatory, they have to have an eliminator, wouldn't they? So no one's had an eliminator to become a mandatory. So if Dillian Whyte got called up and got made champion, and Fury went to be a franchise, Dillian Whyte would have a year to fight before they even give him a mandatory. And in the meanwhile, I know he'd go straight for the. It'd be a cluster F. It'd be a cluster F if he does that. It'll completely mess the whole game up, mate. It'll mess the whole game up. Because then who do Usyk and Joshua go for? So they go for the franchise champion, and then they'll have that same status as Teofimo. You're not really undisputed, or do you go for Dillian Whyte, and then you have to beat Dillian Whyte, and then you are undisputed. But then Fury's floating around out there saying he's the champion. It'll be a cluster F up.
Yeah, and I think that this underscores the point that I always make, that we should really just ignore the sanctioning organizations and this whole idea of undisputed by way of collecting all of the sanctioning organizations' trinkets. I mean, so this is the WBC. This is what they've been carrying on like this for years. All right. I mean, I remember back in 88, 89, 87, right in that time frame when Roy Jones Jr. vacated his WBC 175-pound title. Somebody else whose name I can't remember fought for it, won the title, and then the WBC subsequently stripped that guy and gave the title back to Roy Jones when he decided to go back to light heavyweight. Okay, so this is how the WBC operates. And my question is, seeing that this is the way they do things, I mean, we all see what's going on at lightweight. And I don't know if you guys heard the comments that Silly Man made the other day, but it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
When talking about the situation, 135 pounds, the Pride champion. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Okay, look, Silly Man can't even make up in his mind who is the champion of his organization at lightweight.
Yeah.
People, why do we take the sanctioning organizations seriously? They are a joke. And this situation should just underscore that fact. They're a joke. We need to just ignore them and hope that one day they go away.
Yeah, no ignoring them. We're dealing with the process right now. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen, it appears, is that Tyson Fury, for those just tuning in, you are in tune to Boxing Talk with Rafi 335. OMG. And smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, hit all of the good buttons. If you're enjoying the fare we're providing here today, whatever time it is in your time zone. Okay, so the situation is, if you just joined us, the Tyson Fury, Frank Warren has said Tyson Fury will not be fighting Dillian Whyte in March. But don't get it twisted. There's a couple of possibilities. One, Tyson Fury asks petitions the WBC to fight at voluntary, in which case he keeps hold of his belt, or the WBC say no. WBC say no. You've been mandated to fight Dillian Whyte next, and if you fight anybody other than Dillian Whyte, you're going to be stripped. If they say that to him, then he'll just vacate himself. So there's a couple of possibilities at play, and Ross Clark has rejoined us. Let's see if Ross Clark is here with us. Ross Clark, are you with us? It's the mute button issue, Ross Clark. Could be a mute button issue. I don't know. Looks like you got full signal, but when you join us, just jump on in. Okay, Leighton Evelyn, you were saying.
Yeah, because Raf, if you're looking at an interview, Frank Warren is saying the arbitration at the latest, it's got to be decided in March. That's the latest,
Yeah.
and he's going off that the latest. It could be done January, February. Do you know what I mean? But he's saying the latest. It's what he's selling it, and what I think he's doing at the same time is he's letting the WBC know, threatening them that they'll drop the belt if they don't get their way. If the WBC don't give them their way, they'll drop the belts. That's what they put it all out there. We want to do what we want to do because we're Tyson Fury. Otherwise, we're like what Fight Doctor said. They're bigger than the belts, and the sanctioning fees the WBC will get. They'll think, hang on, we make more sanctioning fees off Fury than we ever will off White.
Yes.
Well, I have a better idea. You can make sanctioning fees off of both.
Off what?
That's exactly the situation that's happening at 135 pounds.
100%, yeah. 100%.
You can do what?
You can make sanctioning fees off. You can collect. Yes, exactly, and collect sanctioning fees off of both for essentially what is the same title.
Interesting. Why would you advocate that? Why are you advocating that, Fight Doctor?
No, I'm not advocating it.
It's what they'll do.
I'm not advocating. Right. I'm not advocating it. Who's the one who's advocating it is the WBC and their president, Mr. Sillyman, because he has to pay for his yachts, he has to pay for his second homes, and he has to pay for his mistresses. Okay, and the more sanctioning fees, the more racketeering he can do, the better equipped he is to pay for all of his extracurricular activities. Okay?
OMG. Okay. I just like to say at this point that the views of the contestants on tonight's show are not necessarily reflected or shared by the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. And we got the Shelton Moore and the Iron Kong up in the building with us. Let's go to the Iron Kong first.
We're in the house.
In the house, the Iron Kong.
Peace to everybody, the Fight Doctor, the Great Shelton, and the Bayesian Welshman. Later. Look here. Every time Tyson Fury is involved in something, it's always a problem. I listen to y'all, and my guy come on, and he read out all the Dillian Whyte flaws and whatever. Let me be absolutely clear. Tyson Fury has just as much. He has a history of ducking people. He has a history of being shady in his dealing. This is a man who said, I am a fighter. Everybody else are businessmen. Now all of a sudden he's trying to use business to get out of a fight. But it can't be business because if he goes to purse bid, Eddie Hearn is quite prepared to offer big money to bring the fight to the zone. So wouldn't that benefit Tyson Fury even more? So it's not business clearly. Something else is wrong here. Tyson Fury has always shown a little bit of waffling when it comes to Dillian Whyte. I'm not sure what it is with this guy. Quite a few people, anytime Dillian Whyte's name is brought up, it's a problem. Deontay Wilder, it's a problem. Tyson Fury, no, it's a problem. Anytime Dillian Whyte's name is brought up. Today on my show, I listed off all the people Wilder fought since becoming champ and asked people which one of those people could beat Dillian Whyte. Same for Tyson Fury. Which one of those people on Tyson Fury's record could beat Dillian Whyte since he became a champion? Even before he beat Klitschko. Which one of them people? Dillian Whyte would be one of the best opponents Tyson Fury has ever fought.
Yes.
I don't want to hear all this talk about Dillian Whyte got knocked out by AJ. AJ knocked out a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? He got his share. I don't want to hear all this about Dillian Whyte getting dropped by whoever. Tyson Fury got dropped by Steve Cunningham. He ducked Kubrat Pulev. He ducked David Price. And this is all information from UK people who tell me he ducked all these people.
They're facts.
Okay, so this is UK people telling me all this. So if we're going to talk about ducking, Tyson Fury has a longer history of that. We need to talk real talk here. I heard Dan the Man say it's rare to see non-title fights. It's not rare. It just doesn't happen. As much as people might criticize, and I might criticize Deontay Wilder's 10 title defenses, he never had no non-title fights. Never. But it takes Tyson Fury to have a non-title fight. Tyson Fury needs to be stripped of the, as Fight Doctor calls, the trinket belt and let it go. What an absolute joke and fraudulent move by this guy and his fans, his sycophants who are backing this foolishness. You really should be ashamed of yourself, because y'all wanted to jump down Anthony Joshua's throat for negotiating a rematch clause with Usyk. Usyk didn't have to take the rematch clause, but he got paid handsomely for it. Yeah. Now Tyson Fury wants to lowball his way out of a fight. This is the fighting man that y'all are talking about, not the businessman, the Spartan, right? Man, stop.
Shameful. 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 Shelton Moore.
Well, I think the Fight Doctor put it best. You know, he's bigger than the belt, and we may not like it, but it's the truth. He's bigger than the belt. Everybody knows that he's the WBC champion. So, belt or no belt, it's not going to change that. Number two, how many fights does he have left on that top rank contract?
Last one. Interesting.
Yeah. So I ain't got to fight this guy. I'll take this last fight with whoever they put in front of me on this top rank contract. Then if Eddie Hearn wants to bid on the fight, go to purse bid, I'm free to go. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's shameful that he's ducking White. I mean, White's been waiting for what, almost 4 years for his shot?
Yep.
It's a sad state, but hey, that's the world we live in. Look at look at middleweight. You got a motherfucker over there that's the champion who don't fight nobody. He don't fight nobody. If they willing to come down to 60. Come on, man. Stop it. This, it's like that all over the place. You got another guy who just got called the undisputed champion. I don't know how that works and Devin Haney is now the what is a Pride champion? What is that? I've never heard of that.
What do you say, Pride?
Yeah, well, he's the Pride champion.
As far as I know, Pride was an MMA organization out of Japan.
Yeah, I remember. But so I guess he's fighting for Pride now. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just weird, man. It's the times we live in, brothers. It's the times.
It's strange. It's weird. It's if he drops that belt, everyone knows he ain't the champ no more. It's this Tyson Fury and more Frank Warren. It's Bob Arum. More antics. People are waiting to see the fight. It's only Tyson Fury's only defended a championship title once, and that was against Deontay Wilder, the heavy hitting but limited Deontay Wilder. But now it seems like now they're just coming up with anything not to fight Dillian White, Leighton Evelyn.
Yeah, what I was going to say is it goes back to the point to Sheldon and the Fight Doctor made, where Fury's only got the one fight left with Top Rank. And the thing is, he done it the wrong way, right? Because, it's like when Devin Haney fights, he fights his own production company. Anthony Joshua fights, he fights his own. Even Dillian White does it his own. They get paid more. They get paid by their company. Deontay Wilder used to do it. He gets paid. Errol Spence does it. The Charlos do it. And Fury didn't do it. Don't do it. So I know he wants this contract to end so he can come out as Fury Promotions. He don't need promoters anymore. And that's what Fury needs. Fury wants to get rid of this ESPN so he can go on to do that because he's losing a ton of money doing it. So like I said to you, if he used to fight White on a 60-40, White will walk away with more money.
What's going on here? I think it's somebody else trying to get in. Have I got to drop that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So yeah. So where are we now? Where do we stand? What's the lay of the land? Okay. Well, the lay of the land is, like I said before, what does that mean? I don't know. Hold on. Somebody waiting? What's going on? No, I don't see anybody else. Waiting. Okay. So as I was saying, it's gonna go one of two ways. One, the WBC are gonna say they're gonna petition the WBC to ask if they can have a voluntary while the Dillian White situation gets sorted out. But according to their laws, no. Dillian White's a mandatory. So in that case, the WBC would have to say no. And oh yeah, I got you. I see what you're saying. I see the private message. Okay, cool. The WBC will say no, and then Tyson Fury will be stripped, or they'll give him a chance to vacate. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how that works out over the next few weeks. Dillian Whyte is currently in arbitration. The arbitrator will decide what the percentage split is. Yeah, and that happens in March.
What will happen? What will happen is what Fight Doctor said. They'll make him franchise champion. That's what will happen. They're going to make Fury franchise champion. That's the way to get around all this for the WBC. Give the belt to White, and it's a demeaned belt. It don't mean nothing because Fury's franchise. That's what they're going to do, mate.
Hold on a second, but the heavyweight, as far as I understand, the heavyweight cannot be made franchise because the franchise is a belt which allows you to move up and down in weight. So it don't apply to the heavyweights.
But we're talking about
you can't go on, Fight.
Yeah, but we're talking about the WBC here, who seems to just make up rules as they go along. So
bingo,
you know, the WBC, they seem to change their rules like the direction of the wind. So if they had some rule previously that said heavyweights can't be the WBC champion, expect an exception. All right, believe the opposite.
I said today that the WBC will find a way to allow Tyson Fury to keep that belt and fight whoever this person is. He's gonna pick. He's gonna keep that belt. People are telling me no, they're gonna force him to vacate. The WBC will find a way to just say, no. He can keep it. It's cool. He can keep it.
Yeah.
Listen.
And the WBC said that franchise belt was non-transferable. They said, first of all, you couldn't transfer it when you won it. But what happens?
Well, the WBC has now created a Pride FC belt or a Pride GBQT belt for Devin Haney. So the WBC right now, to be quite honest, is an absolute joke and a fraud. But Tyson Fury doing this, in my opinion, doing this foolishness, I mean, if it's your last fight on your contract with Top Rank, just let it go to purse bids and cash out big with the zone. What is this foolery? Are you telling me Bob Arum is going to pick some nobody for Tyson Fury to fight on ESPN? Tyson Fury has done no big numbers outside of Deontay Wilder. When he fought Schwartz and these people, I think it was pay-per-view, or Wallin, one of these people, and didn't do anything. Up to now, we don't know how much that fight did. We still don't know. Dillian White is a bigger pay-per-view draw in the UK than Tyson Fury. We know that by numbers. He's had more pay-per-view appearances, and he's done more numbers. We still want to know how much numbers did Tyson Fury do when he fought Deontay Wilder. We still don't know. They keep hiding these numbers.
Dang.
I don't understand. So when we're talking about Dillian White is not a draw, Dillian White in the UK is big money. But we've seen Tyson Fury fight in America without Deontay Wilder. He didn't make he didn't do no big numbers. So when people tell me he's this big draw, based on what? He hasn't done any pay-per-views in the UK, no big fights in the UK, not one. Not one fight in the UK, big fight in the UK, not one.
Dang.
He hasn't done any big numbers in America outside of Deontay Wilder. So what are people basing this draw business on with Tyson Fury? What are people basing this on? I don't understand. Because Top Rank overpaid him for the Wilder fights? Stop.
Yeah, I agree with the Iron Kong. Fury isn't a draw. He's not a big draw. And I think maybe perhaps I think Iron Kong touched on the issue here. What might be the real issue is Dillian White obviously is a draw in the UK, and potentially that's where this fight would need to happen. Which brings up the question: Can Tyson Fury even fight in the UK?
Yes, Tyson Fury can fight in the UK.
Well, he hasn't done so lately.
He has
no,
done
that's
so.
just a misconception.
He did so against Cephas Fury, or was it Francesco Pianetta? He fought one fight in England and the other fight in Ireland. So he has fought in the UK in the last few years, and he can do so. Loki, subscribe, comment, and share. Let's get rid of that and do it again properly. Okay, so he can fight in the UK, nay bother, as they say in Scotland. Nay bother, no problem. But yeah, Shelton Moore, Tyson Fury. What happens next?
Then Fury fights some guy, whatever guy, because we know now we have experience with the deal. They can't any kind of negotiation until it's settled, and that won't be settled until March. So he's gonna, in the meantime, if he wants to fight, he'll fight some guy. I don't know what guy, but it'll be a guy. Beat on him, proclaim himself as the greatest sliced bread, like he always does. And then he'll probably lose the arbitration and have to wind up fighting Dillian Whyte for whatever split that the arbitrator decides. I think that fight's going to happen. It's just not going to happen when we want it to happen, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think
it's a big money. It's a big money.
It is indeed. I suspect it's going to happen after the March fight. Will Tyson Fury have the belt? Will he vacate it? Will Dillian Whyte be the champion when he fights Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury vacated? There's a lot of possibilities. Lots.
Raph, if the arbitration rules in Dillian Whyte's favor and gives him 40%, I'm telling you now, what Fight Doctor said is 100%. They're going to make Fury franchise champion. I'm telling you, because the WBC are going to be playing to Fury's flute, and Fury's going to make take that franchise champion, and he can fight whoever he wants. He's no mandatories. He can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
Hold on, how can you be a franchise champion when the franchise belt gives you the ability to move up and down through weight classes?
That's what I just said. Yeah,
but it's not just weight classes; it's classes. It gives you the ability to have no mandatories and fight whoever you want. Because a franchise means you're a franchise on your own. You're the money man. That's why you're a franchise champion. You can fight whoever you want, and there's no mandatories, and that's why they'll give it to him.
Well, according to their own laws, he can't be franchise champion. So if they try to make him franchise champion, that's going to be made. So that's going to make for some very, very interesting conversations.
They offered it to Wilder, and Wilder said he don't want to be no franchise champion.
No, they didn't offer
it to Wilder.
They didn't offer it to
Wilder. Yeah, they did. Check.
No, they did not offer. They didn't
Wilder
offer
said he don't want to be no franchise
champion.
He said that, but they never offered it to him.
He was asked by a reporter if he would accept it. Wilder said he don't know what that is and he don't want that.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah, but he was never offered. It was a hypothetical, and he responded to the hypothetical. He said no, but he was never offered to him. According to the WBC rules, it cannot be offered to a heavyweight. So if they do make that move, it's going to lead to some very, very interesting conversations. And it's not going to be very complimentary for Tyson Fury. So I put it to you. I put it to you that Tyson Fury, if Tyson Fury accepts some hocus pocus franchise belt, it is not going to reflect very well on him. Is not going to be remembered very fondly in the history books. So I put it to you that Tyson Fury would be a fool to accept the mandatory because of the damage it will do to whatever legacy he may have.
Can I chime in for a second?
Yes.
Now, let's talk about the WBC and their rules, right? Now, if memory serves me correct, it was the WBC's idea in the first place to change the weight limit of cruiserweight about 15 years ago, to change it from 190 to 200. That was their idea, if I'm not mistaken. And now you see they all of a sudden want to change it back without warning, okay? And it seems to be for the sole purpose of giving Alvarez an advantage in the fight against the WBC champion at cruiserweight. It was the WBC who created the first 168-pound title, which was contested by Sugar Ray Leonard and Donnie Lalonde. The WBC said Donnie Lalonde could put his 175-pound title on the line at 168 pounds, a rule that they just initially invented out of thin air along with their WBC 168-pound title, right? This is what the WBC does. The WBC with the franchise championship, initially the rule was this is not a title that you could lose in the ring or you could win by beating a franchise champion. You would have to be awarded this title. But what have we seen at lightweight? We've seen the WBC franchise champion title change hands not once but twice by a guy losing it or winning it in the ring, contrary to their rules. So it seems to me clearly, to any objective observer, it should seem clear that the WBC is willing and able and will, in fact, disregard or invent new rules as it suits their purposes, whenever it suits their purposes. So I don't see why. I mean, first, look, listen, the WBC is not to be taken seriously in the first place. Okay, and I think everyone involved understands that the WBC is not to be taken seriously. It's just marketing. And listen, I guarantee you that the top promoters all understand what I'm talking about. It's just a marketing tool, these various titles. So if it's franchise, if it's pride, if it's washboard, what difference does it make? As long as you have this trinket that you can parade in front of the crowds at the circus, okay? It doesn't matter what you call the particular trinket, as long as you have one. That's why there's so many. Because I just need to have one because it is a marketing tool. It's like a slogan, right? Like you have, Coke and a smile. It's marketing. That's all it is. That's the only value that these stupid titles have. So what difference does it make if Tyson Fury is the WBC quote-unquote regular pride washboard franchise champion, as long as he has the stupid trinket? That's all that's important.
History books, history. I think people care about how people in that position care how history will recall them.
Okay, but here's the problem with that. Now, when we look at the history books, and I'm going to go back to my example of Muhammad Ali versus Sonny Liston, do we remember Muhammad Ali beating Sonny Liston? I'm sorry, do we remember Cassius Clay having beaten Sonny Liston for the WBC title? Or do we remember Cassius Clay having beaten Sonny Liston because he beat Sonny Liston, right? I think the record books record that Cassius Clay beat Sonny Liston because Sonny Liston was the big bad Godzilla of his day, and it does not matter that he held the WBC title. I don't even know if he did. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but that's not important. At the end of the day, when we go back and look at
he was undisputed. He was the undisputed champion.
Okay,
yeah, but it wasn't WBC. It wasn't WBC.
Right. Be that as it may, none of that is important when we look at the history books. Because whenever we recount Muhammad Ali's career, no one ever talks about Cassius Clay having beaten Sonny Liston for the WBC title. That's never part of the conversation. It's always Cassius Clay beat Sonny Liston. He knocked him out.
Who was the WBC champion?
It doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
It does matter because he beat him to the championship.
No. Nobody cares who the WBC champion was. Only thing people care about.
They care who the champion of the division was.
The champion of the division was Sonny Liston. We know this.
Well,
the point that I'm trying to make. But the point that I'm trying to make is nobody cares that Cassius Clay beat Sonny Liston for the WBC title. What people care about is that Cassius Clay beat Sonny Liston because Sonny Liston was the heavyweight champion of the world.
Became champion as a result of it.
He became champion as a result of having beaten Sonny Liston.
Yes.
Not because he won the WBC title.
No, he beat Sonny Liston and he became the champion, world champion, de facto at the time, the WBC champion. So it matters.
No, it does not.
Well, yeah,
When you
that's
when you all right, so my question is this: when you look at the record books, when you watch a documentary on Muhammad Ali, and the documentary is covering the Sonny Liston fight, is there any commentary on what belt Sonny Liston was holding other than the World Heavyweight Champion title? No, nobody cares because it's
well,
not important.
well, it's the championship. He wins the championship. If it was the WBA, it would have been the WBA. If it was something else, it would have been something else. But in this particular case, it was the WBC. So he became world champion by virtue of the fact that he beat Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston was the holder of the WBC belt. The WBC belt then went over to Muhammad Ali or Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali.
Okay, I think you just said what I'm saying is that
Well, I think
Cassius
it's slightly
Clay.
different because I think, I think it's a game of semantics. The bottom line is that Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay beat Sonny Liston, and he became the world heavyweight champion. And at that time, that meant the WBC champion. So either way, you can argue it any which way you see fit. Does it matter what the name of the belt was? Well, you can argue that as you see fit. The bottom line is that Muhammad Ali beat Sonny Liston and he became the world champion, the WBC champion.
Let me ask this question. Let me ask this question. Now, we remember Michael Spinks and Larry Holmes, right?
Yeah.
So when Michael Spinks beat Larry Holmes, did he become the heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Spinks?
Was Larry Holmes the heavyweight champion of the world? Yes. So therefore, when he beat him, he became world heavyweight champion of the world.
Was there a WBC title involved in this match?
Was there? You tell me.
No, there wasn't.
Okay. So he became world champion, the WBA champion, or the IBF champion.
So I said I brought up that example to underscore the fact that you don't need the WBC title to be the heavyweight champion of the world.
No, you don't.
WBC title.
It depends on who has what belt that champion has. If it's
then exactly.
WBC.
So then the point needs to be made that the champion makes the belt. The belt does not make the champion. It does not matter what belt a champion has if he is indeed if he or her is indeed the real champion at the weight.
That's fair enough. But in this case, we're talking about the WBC. You know, that's why we're talking about WBC, because in this specific case, we're talking about the WBC.
Okay. Yeah, we're talking about the WBC, but I'm just trying to underscore the point here that the WBC title is not what's paramount. It's not what's important.
No, the WBC title is not what's important or imperative. It's just that it is the belt that Tyson Fury holds in this particular instance, and that's why we're talking about it. You know?
Yeah, but Raph, what he's saying is it's like say they do make Fury franchise, then that WBC belt don't mean nothing. Everyone don't want to fight Dillian Whyte. They still want to fight Fury. So in a way, he's right, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's not about the belt. It's about the person. And in everyone's eyes, they see Fury as the champion, not Dillian Whyte. Even if they give Dillian Whyte the belt, everyone still sees Fury as the champion.
Well, I don't see how that could be the case.
Here's the question. Right. I got a question. Here's the question.
Yeah.
Who is the heavyweight champion of the world? Because we got two of them. Who's the heavyweight champion of the world?
It's undecided. We're trying to get undisputed. We're trying to get undisputed. We don't know.
So we got one guy with 3 belts and the other guy with 1 belt.
Yeah.
And the lineage. We don't know who the heavyweight champion of the world is.
I agree with that. We're trying to get a resolution. We're trying to get to a resolution.
It's the same as with Spence and Bud, isn't it?
Same as with Spence and Bud. We're trying to get a resolution, a solution, and we hope we're a little bit clear. We hope we're a little bit closer. All the shenanigans have to come to an end.
The only place we know who the real champion is at 168. We know who the champion is because he beat all the other guys.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, my bad. And Josh. I forgot about Josh.
I think the question at 168 pounds is still open.
168, Canelo Alvarez, WBO, IBF, Canelo Alvarez, WBA, Canelo Alvarez, WBC. Canelo Alvarez seems like a shutout to me.
Fight doctor,
So
don't come with hate for Canelo, no, mate. It's not worth
no,
it.
listen. Alvarez is one of my favorite fighters, and he's actually my pound for pound number one. But I have to call it like I see it. And look, Benavidez lost his WBC title on the scale, which is when all of a sudden Canelo Alvarez showed interest in fighting for that title. So if the idea is that you beat the best, you become the best by having beaten the best. Well, Alvarez hasn't exactly done that at 168 pounds. There's still a couple of names that I think he needs to beat before he can claim that he's beaten the best at the weight at super middleweight.
Well, see, that's the same argument they tried to use with Crawford, right? Well, he won the title, but he beat Julius Ndongo. It doesn't matter who had the belt at the time. Benavidez lost it through cocaine use or on a scale or whatever. He didn't have a belt. This motherfucker did. That's who he fought. That's who he beat. That makes him the champion. That's all I'm saying.
But see, the question is, how do you become the best? And you become the best by having beaten the best.
Yeah.
So the follow-up question is, has Alvarez beaten the best guys at 168 pounds?
But they're
that's
champions.
the follow-up question.
Champions,
but that's not what
the best. Therefore, he beat the champions. He is the best.
But that's not the question I asked. Well, I didn't ask if he was the best at 168. That we know who is the undisputed champion at 168. In that argument, Josh Taylor is the undisputed champion at 140.
Yeah.
Does that mean he's the best fighter at 140? I don't because I think Regis Prograis beat him. That's my opinion.
But there's a difference.
That's my opinion. How's there a difference?
I get where you're coming from, but there's a difference between the Josh Taylor situation at 140 and the Canelo Alvarez situation at 168 pounds. Because in order for Josh Taylor to become undisputed at 140, he had to indeed go through all of the best guys who have proven themselves to be the best at 140. Alvarez hasn't done that at 168, in my opinion. So I think the undisputed claim for Josh Taylor stands on firm ground, whereas the undisputed claim for Alvarez at 168 is hollow. Now that's just the way I see it. Now the way
let me ask you this. Now leave it alone. I'm asking this, and I'll leave it alone. You can have it. So in fight, doctor, was Crawford undisputed at 140?
Crawford beat all the best guys at the weight. Listen, when Crawford left 140, there was no question as to who the man was. There was no question as to who had proven himself the best fighter at the weight. He knocked out everybody that was there except for the Eastern European guy, whom he soundly outboxed. And as I recall, Postal might have even been the favorite going into that fight. I know a lot of guys picked Postal to beat Crawford. So Crawford proved himself at 140. There was no question because he beat all the best guys. Same thing with Josh Taylor. He beat all the best guys at the weight. You can't say that for Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds. I'm sorry, you just can't.
You can't, because he won people with the belts. They were the belts, so that meant they were the best, even though in your eyes, or maybe other people's opinions, they weren't the best. But you've got to go off the logic of whoever got the belts are the best. That's why you're called world champions. Maybe they're not the world champions that you think are the best, but they are the ones with the titles. So they are the best. Therefore, he is undisputed.
Well, listen, I agree that he beat the guys who were the current trinket holders. I agree in that sense. I agree that he's undisputed because of the fact that he beat the guys who were the current trinket holders.
If you can't make the weight, you're not the best. Benavidez is out. He took himself out.
Okay, well, listen, Benavidez made 168 for his last fight.
That's his last fight. He didn't make but he lost it on the scale, my friend. He lost it on the scale, and he lost it to drugs. He ain't the best. If you can't do what you're supposed to do, if you can't step on the scale and make weight, if you can't get drug tested and not fail, you are not the best, my friend.
Well, all right, and that's the opinion that you hold. I'm of a different opinion.
All right, fight doctor. Say you got a son, right? And your son done exactly what Canelo said. You turn around and you say to your son, "You're not the best. You're not undisputed, mate." You'd say that to your son, would you?
Me personally, I would have raised my son to understand what undisputed should actually mean, and that if he's going to call himself the best, then he needs to clean out the weight class. And Alvarez has not cleaned out 168. I'm sorry, but he hasn't. So if you're going to call yourself the best in a weight class, absent a lineal champion who was there before you were, then you need to clean out the division. And Alvarez, I'm sorry, but Alvarez has not cleaned out 168 pounds.
Can I ask you
now,
a question?
Did I miss something?
Doctor?
Yes, sir.
Canelo Alvarez is the best at 168?
If you want to rank Alvarez as the number one guy,
I'm asking you a question. Do you think Canelo Alvarez is the best at 168 personally?
Yes, I think he beats all other guys in 168.
You answered your question, bro. You just answered your question.
But no, see, but here's the problem, right? It's one thing to have an opinion, right? I can have the opinion that Alvarez is the best fighter at 168, but my opinion means nothing until that's proven true, which has not yet happened. In order for that to be proven true, Alvarez needs to clean out 168, which in fact has not happened. I don't understand how we defending this guy and defending his claim as being undisputed when he is clearly not cleaned out the division. Now, I want to see Alvarez prove himself to be the best guy at 168, but I'm not going to call him that. Same
logic. Everyone says Tyson Fury's the best, but he hasn't cleaned out the division. He has not beaten everyone, but then everyone says he's the best. So, you know what I mean? The logic don't work, mate.
Well, listen, in the Tyson Fury situation, you have a vacant title, a vacant lineal title. The top two guys fight to determine a new lineal champion, and that's what happened with Tyson Fury. That is not what happened, in my opinion, at 168 pounds. Now, this guy, he may have picked up all the trinkets, but I don't think the two best 168 pounders have yet faced each other to settle who is actually the number one guy in the division. Whereas there can be no question. All right, that's an open question in my mind. Now, at heavyweight, that question has been answered to my satisfaction. Now, yes, do I think Tyson Fury needs to fight Usyk? Yeah, sure, he needs to fight him. But I don't think fighting Usyk.
So you're contradicting what you're saying. You're contradicting the whole philosophy of what you're saying.
Well, then explain how am I contradicting myself, please?
Because you're saying Tyson Fury don't have to fight everyone to clear out the division to say he is the best. But you're saying Canelo got to fight the best to prove he's the best and do it. So what is it? Canelo's cleared out the division, got all the belts. He is the best. But you're saying Tyson Fury don't have to do it, but he is the best.
What I'm saying is that in Tyson Fury's case, he's already proven himself the lineal champion by having beaten the second best guy in the division, right?
How's he the second best guy in the division? How do you know that? Like you said, it's an opinion. It's an opinion. It's an opinion.
Okay, so then we have rankings for a reason so that we can determine who the two best guys are. And when the two best guys fight in the absence of a lineal champion, the winner decides who will be the lineal champion going forward. Now, we have not seen that at 168, in my opinion. Okay, so that's the reason why I think that this designation of being undisputed at 168 is built on a hollow foundation, because Canelo Alvarez has not proven himself. Right, he has not proven to be the best guy at the weight.
Well, like I said, you're contradicting yourself. You're contradicting yourself because you're giving one guy a different route to another guy.
Yeah, that's your opinion.
I'm not understanding how I'm having double standards when in fact I'm basically saying the same thing, that in order for Alvarez to consider himself the man at 168 pounds, he needs to beat the second best guy in the division, which in my mind that has not yet happened.
Let Shelton Moore.
What he's saying is this, Fight Doctor. This is what he's saying. There's only one way to become the undisputed champion in any division, right? You got to beat all of the guys with the belts. That's the only way you can do it.
Yeah.
This guy did that.
Yeah.
We can't change that. No matter if we like the guys he fought or we don't. We can't change the fact that he fought him and he beat him. That makes him undisputed. Yes. Now, has he cleaned out the division?
I'm not arguing.
Let Shelton finish.
Has he cleaned out the division? No, he hasn't. But he's beaten all the guys with the belts. That's how you become undisputed. There's no other way to do it.
The point that I'm making is that having beaten all the guys with the belts is fine and dandy. And if you want to call him undisputed for having done so, that's fine and dandy too. But what I'm saying, the point I'm making, is what difference does it make? What does it have to do with the price of tea in China? If you beat all the guys with trinkets at 168 pounds, but you have not beaten your chief rival, the other best guy in the division, what does it matter?
Who's the other best?
Who's
the other best guy in the division?
Benavidez. Benavidez is the guy he needs to beat. Okay.
He needs to beat Benavidez.
And I personally had Benavidez ranked ahead of all these other guys that he's beaten. So I don't care that he's beaten Trout and whatever the names of the guys were. I don't care. It does not matter, because the guy who I personally had ranked ahead of all those guys, he hasn't beaten. So that's the guy he needs to beat. Now, in the Tyson Fury situation, look, prior to Tyson Fury having beaten Deontay Wilder the first time, nobody would have ranked Usyk ahead of Deontay Wilder. I'm sorry, but no. You don't put Usyk ahead of Deontay Wilder. Wait, Usyk hadn't fought anybody. Listen, Usyk has no relevant fights at heavyweight until he fought Joshua. So how in the hell am I supposed to put Usyk ahead of Deontay Wilder when Deontay Wilder has spent his whole? Let me finish.
No.
Deontay Wilder has spent his whole career at the weight, defended a title 10 times. Usyk has yet to defend a title
against
heavyweight.
bums.
And I'm supposed to rank Usyk ahead of Wilder. What sense does that make?
But wait a minute.
When you rated Wilder at number one heavyweight when Fury fought him, how was he number one when Joshua had all the other belts? But yeah, he was still classed number one.
Joshua was coming off a knockout loss. That's why. Joshua was coming off a knockout loss.
But he got it back.
Last I checked,
number one. Joshua was number one. Joshua's number one.
Yeah, you lose your number one status when you get knocked out, and the two guys behind you are undefeated. And that was exactly the case. Were we not paying attention to the first Ruiz fight? I don't care if he won the rematch. Listen, winning the rematch does not erase what happened in the first fight. And I'm sorry. But you don't leapfrog guys who are ahead of you just because you knocked out.
Yeah, hold on.
The guy who knocked you out. But no.
That should have been 1 and 2. No. Ring Magazine should have been on the line for Joshua and Klitschko, but it wasn't, because that would have been 1 and 2. Because you're going to put Fury straight in at 1. You should have put Klitschko straight in at 1.
Yeah. Yes. Shelton Moore.
You hearing this, Rafi?
I'm hearing it.
Are we moving the goalposts?
The goalposts are being moved around like it's musical chairs. You have musical chairs around there in America? You have musical chairs? You know what that game is?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So it's musical chairs with the goalposts, I'm afraid, Fight Doctor. It's musical chairs with the goalposts. If you clean out the division, if you beat all the champions, you're undisputed. If you want to go further than that, then clean out the whole top 5, or you can attempt to clean out the whole top 10 like Anthony Joshua did. You know what I'm saying? So you have to give credit for guys who win all the belts, and then go to clean out the division or clean out the division as you're waiting to pick up any straggling belt. That's my opinion. Let me go because we're gonna have to switch. We're gonna have to switch topics. But let me just go into the chat. Before we do that, what makes Benavidez better than Callum Smith? Plant. Yeah, I mean, you have to establish it. You can't just say he's better unless he's established that. And Benavidez ain't established that. He's a guy who's shown ill discipline. He's a guy who beat himself before anybody could get the chance to beat him. He beat himself on the scales. He beat himself with his drug habit. He did it to himself. That's my opinion on that. Let's have a look. Job, okay, so hit that like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button as we move. Okay, where is it? Have I got it? Let me share with y'all. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're still with the heavyweights. We're still with the heavyweights. Okay, so Hearn, maybe an IBF final eliminator against Filip Hrgovic is next for Joseph Parker. Okay, so let's get into this. Eddie Hearn feels Joseph Parker has earned another heavyweight title shot. The former WBO champion has won 6 consecutive fights since he lost back-to-back 12-round unanimous decisions to Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte in 2018. New Zealand's Parker hasn't participated in a world championship match since he lost his WBO belt to Joshua in their title unification fight, March 2018 at the Principality Stadium, Cardiff, Wales. Okay, so Parker is ranked 2nd by the WBO, 4th by the IBF and the WBC, and 13th by the WBA. Okay, so though rated highest by the WBO, Hearn, whose company promotes Parker, indicates after his 2nd straight points victory over Derek Chisora on Saturday night that the path towards the IBF title shot might make the most sense for Parker. That's what I've been telling y'all. Okay, so what else do I want to say? What else do I want to say? Okay, I think that's enough. I think that's we all get the gist. We all get the gist. What am I saying on this? I'm saying, yeah, let it happen. Let it happen. Parker, I think this is the best route for him. Hrgovic is highly ranked. He's number 1 ranked in the IBF. But, you know, what about who's he been fighting? Who's he been fighting top 10? Has he been fighting top 10 guys? No. Has Parker been fighting top 10? Well, maybe at least top 15 for sure. So I think I'd have to give, I think we did a poll on this last week, and the poll was decidedly in favor of Parker beating Filip Hrgovic. Where are we going to go first? Let me go to Shelton Moore first. Shelton Moore, how you feel about this? Parker versus Hrgovic.
Well, I don't think much of Hrgovic. I mean, he's slow as shit.
Uh-oh.
He ain't fought nobody. I mean, I don't know what everybody sees in this. I don't see anything. I think Parker beats him up.
Yeah. Yes. Leighton Evelyn, how you feel about this?
Yeah, what I think Hrgovic, I disagree with Shelton. I think Hrgovic is a very good fighter. He's scared. He is really tough. But the fights he's been taking lately, he's in decline. He's coming in decline because he's not fighting good quality. And so he's bringing his stock down. But Hrgovic is a very good fighter. That's why when he was offered that mandatory status, there was no one would fight him. They went right down the list. No one would fight him. No one at all. I think it was the top 10. None of them would fight him. And I think Hrgovic, he needs to fight better opposition. And he comes to line. But he is a really tough fighter. If you probably Shelton don't know much, watch Hrgovic from his European days and that. But Hrgovic, he is one tough man. Trust me. He do look slow, but he's constant and he hits hard, mate. He do hit hard. And I think he beats Parker. I think he beats Parker. Parker's a lot faster than him. A lot faster than him. He is right there.
So hold on. Who you got winning that fight? Parker v Hrgovic.
I'll go Hrgovic.
Okay. As a matter of fact, rat-a-tat-tat, we're gonna do that poll again. The fight doctor. Who you got? What do you feel about this Parker v Hrgovic fight?
Honestly, I don't know that I care. But I will offer this. I think that we are going to see the heavyweight title, the heavyweight belts fractured. I don't think that Usyk is going to be able to hold on to all 3 of those belts that he has right now. With this IBF mandatory, IBF doesn't play around, right? When they declare a mandatory challenger, you have to fight their mandatory, and I think it's in 90 days? Or whatever it is. But the IBF, they don't play the whole step aside and delaying the mandos. No, That they don't play those games. So yeah, I'm thinking that in 2022 we will see the heavyweight title fractured. Perhaps starting with Tyson Fury, going with the franchise title, and then Dillian White being elevated to whatever the Pride champion or whatever the hell silly man comes up with. And I think Usyk, or the winner of the Usyk Joshua fight, will probably lose at least one of their belts due to being stripped or refusing to fight a mandatory or whatever it might be.
Okay.
It's the WBA that's up next, isn't it, for mandatories? I'm sure it's the WBA.
WBA. Yeah, I think I don't think the IBF is next. The IBF is not next. What we're saying here. Poll is in the chat. And if you're in here, this is Boxing Talk with Rafi 335. And the poll is in the chat. Where's the poll? Okay, so the poll reads: who wins, Philippe Hrgovic or Joseph Parker? So get your votes in. The poll is in the chat. What do I feel? How do I feel about this? I feel that Andy Lee, Parker's new trainer, I think that he benefits him. It seems like a good matchup. Seems like a good. What did I do that for? I keep on accidentally pressing the star. That pins the thing, and that's not what I meant to do. Hold on. Yeah. So Philippe Hrgovic versus Parker. How do I see it going? I think Andy Lee is good for Parker. I think Parker's whole environment, he's like an underling to Tyson Fury now. He says he won't fight Tyson Fury, but he's in the bosom. He's in the bosom of the beast. He's in the belly of the beast. He's training with his people, with Fury's people, Andy Lee. It's done him good. I think he's going to get some good boxing knowledge, tighten up on his fundamentals. I think Andy Lee's going to be better for him than his previous guy, Kevin Barry. That said, Hrgovic, he's got, well, to be honest, he's been looking a bit sloppy recently. But I think that he'll tighten up his game for Parker, theoretically, possibly he'll tighten up his game for Parker, and it should be a damn good scrap. Okay, so I'm leaving the poll up there for people to peruse. So who am I going to go with? OMG. Got to pick one or t'other. And however, I'm still going to have to edge it to Parker. Although you can't write Philippe Hrgovic off. That would be crazy. That would be outlandish and outrageous. Terence Crawford says he's going to be the puppet master. I don't think so. Okay. We're going to have a quick little look at Terence Crawford. Although we've talked about Terence Crawford, I'm pretty sure we talked about him in the last fight, in the last show, or the show before. So I don't know if we have to talk about that. I don't think it's going to happen. But something that has been talked about. Let me bring it up on my screen.
Say, Rafi.
Yeah.
I've got to cut out, but before I do, can I just make a quick comment regarding the Crawford-Spence situation?
Of course.
So this is, Crawford-Spence is what's wrong with boxing. Because in the NFL and NBA, in the UFC, we regularly see the two best teams in their division or league or whatever it might be. We regularly see, at least once a year, we see the two best play each other or fight to see who is going to be number one. And this situation at 147 is what's killing the sport of boxing, and it is beyond ridiculous. When you can have the two best, who are clearly the two best, like heads and shoulders above the rest, right? I mean, there's no question who the two best guys are at 147 pounds. And that's been the case for some years, and still we can't get a fight.
PBC Island.
This is ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous. And if by chance Errol Spence is listening to this, listen, you need Terrence Crawford. Don't fool yourself.
Yeah.
But listen, if you miss this opportunity, you are missing an opportunity to define the whole of your career, to prove yourself a great. Terrence Crawford is a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. There's no question, in my mind at least. Terrence Crawford is going to the Hall of Fame, right? We all recognize the greatness of Terrence Crawford. Errol Spence, what have you done lately? What have you done ever? Who have you beaten? Seriously, a lightweight and Mikey Garcia? I mean, that's legitimately the only great fighter that you've beaten. A guy coming up from lightweight. So, Errol Spence, I think you probably need to remove your head from your rear end and tell Uncle Al, I need this fight because this is what defines my legacy. Because right now you have none. You have none. I don't care about the WBA, IB, whatever. Belts don't matter. Who you beat is what matters. And you have in front of you a huge opportunity. You have an opportunity to hand a potential all-time greatest for first loss. And if you don't take it, well, listen, I'm gonna call it what it is. If it has feathers and it likes water, well, it just might be a duck. And gentlemen, I'll leave you with that.
Have a good day, sir.
That was the Fight Doctor. Much appreciation goes out to the Fight Doctor. Thanks for joining us. Okay. So, clearly, Errol don't want that smoke. And it's become a very abundantly clear. And it's got to the point now where it's almost embarrassing. I think Errol Spence, I don't think that fight ever happens because Errol don't want it. Al Heyman don't want it. Porter, Brook, Garcia. He fought Porter, Brook, Garcia, but he won't fight Terrence Crawford. And that's a big problemo. As Alexandra Ilbus. Alexandra. That's a lady's name. I've never noticed it was Alexandra before. I thought it was Alexander. But it's Alexandra. Good to have you up in here, Alexandra. The Phil Walker, Porter, Brook, and Danny Garcia. But no Crawford. The jewel in the crown. You don't want to fight the jewel in the crown, and that's a problem. Really is a problem. A problem for Leonard Ellaby is that he says that Golden Boy been talking about Ryan Garcia wants his comeback against Isaac Cruz, who just fought Javante Tank Davis. And Leonard Ellaby says bull-ish. Okay. She's biz. Did it again. Accidentally pressed on the star. Let me deal with that. Okay. Come out of that. She's biz up in the building. Anthony McCann. Danny Garcia is not a great boxer, and neither is Brook. Porter is good, but not great. Hey, I think Brook was a damn good fighter. He beat Porter, didn't he? For the championship. Yeah. Then you got to give him his due. Big up the chat. Big up the panel. Fighting your peers in their prime is the key to greatness. Yes. I like that one. So who thinks Golden Boy are being serious? Who thinks Leonard? Who thinks that Golden Boy, be serious when they say that Garcia wants Isaac Cruz.
Listen,
yeah.
Raf. Garcia calls out anyone on Twitter. He fights everyone. He fights Devin Haney. He'll fight Teofimo. He'll fight anyone. But when it comes to fight, he's not there, mate. He reckons he's got an injury, mental health. It's just he ain't a fighter, mate. He needs to walk away from the sport, even though he's not young 20s. He needs to walk away from the sport, mate. He is a joke. The guy is an absolute joke. And when it comes to fight time, he had his mandatory, beat Luke Campbell to win a mandatory fight against Devin Haney, and then didn't take it. Just didn't. Oh, mate, the guy is a joke. An absolute joke. I give up on him long time ago, mate. I swear. I give up on him long time ago.
Yeah, I hear you. Shelton Moore.
He's an Instagram model. He's not a fighter. Let him stay with Instagram. Keep modeling. Do whatever you do. You don't want to fight nobody. I'm done with the kid. I don't really care what he does. Hope he goes.
And in comes the man like the Phil Walker. Phil Walker, how do you do?
Hello, Ralph. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I can hear you, Phil. I can hear you. How's it going?
It's going swell, my brother. I've been listening in to you guys, man, for quite some time today. Yeah, I just wanted to comment to what Fight Doctor said. I get it, man. I understand that Errol Spence Jr., he's acting like a real diva when it comes to the Terrence Crawford fight. But I'll be honest with you. I think Errol Spence fought some pretty good opposition. He's obviously the unified champion. And aside from giving us the Crawford fight, I wouldn't discredit the guy by any means because, like I said in the chat, he did beat Brooke in the UK. He beat Porter, and he also beat Danny Garcia. I mean, when you look at it, if you're discrediting Errol Spence Jr.'s wins, you also discrediting two of Terrence Crawford's wins. And I don't see how anybody could do that. Now, I want Spence to get in the ring with Crawford. Obviously, Crawford's been the aggressor and trying to make the fight happen. But at the end of the day, opposite of Terrence Crawford, I think Errol Spence Jr. has done quite well for himself at 147 pounds.
I think he's done very well for himself, but he won't fight Crawford. That's a problem.
Yeah, but outside of him fighting Crawford, I mean, Fight Doctor completely said, I mean, who has he fought and all this other kind of stuff, and I just think those are just.
Okay, Phil, let's break it down. Let's look at what happened. Now, if you want to break it down, to that level, we gonna do it like this. Brooke beat John Porter, correct?
Hold on, everybody. Hold on. I'm gonna mute everybody other than the person who's speaking because I think we got some feedback. So
okay,
I'm muted. Hold on, there's Shelton. I'm gonna mute Leighton as well. So I muted Phil and Leighton. Okay, Shelton. Oh, okay. It's probably you, Shelton. It's probably you. You're probably not wearing headphones, so we're getting feedback, but it's okay. It's okay. Let's go.
This is what we did. Kell Brook beat Sean Porter. Then Kell Brook went up 60 by Triple G. Right? Back down to 47 and fought Errol Spence. So I don't believe he was the same Kell Brook that went up to 60 when he came back down to 47. Number one. Number two, I'm for Sean Porter. What happened to Sean Porter every time he stepped up petition? Every time. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
Every time he lost. So it wasn't that Bud would stop him. I told you Bud would stop him since the fight got made because every time he steps up in competition, he loses. You want to go to Danny Garcia. I want you to tell me who the hell has Danny Garcia beat at 147? The top of the welterweight division takes turn whooping Danny Garcia's ass. Everybody at the top has beat him. So I don't understand why people talk about this great competition. Those guys that I named are good. Great. None of them.
Okay, Phil Walker.
Yeah. So, all right. So this is my rebuttal to that, and this is just plain and simple. At the end of the day, each one of those guys that you name are top 5 welterweights by several sanctioning bodies. Okay. This is not me freestyling. You can go and look this stuff up yourself. When he fought Sean Porter, this guy was a top 5 welterweight. So was Kell Brook. He was Kell Brook was Kell Brook's mandatory for several years, seemed like. Okay, and when he fought Danny Garcia, he was also the top 5 guy. So who do we go to as an alternative? What guys are available that you would have to like to see Errol Spence Jr. fight outside of Bud Crawford and a possible fight with Keith Thurman? He's fought everybody else that means anything to 147 pounds. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Now, if you don't believe, one second, my brother, nobody interrupted you. If you believe that these guys aren't great fighters, that's fine. If you believe these guys are just subpar fighters, that's fine. If you believe that they're just right above average fighters, that's fine. That's your own personal opinion. But at the end of the day, the alternative to those 3 guys are much lesser and much weaker opponents left for Errol Spence Jr. to fight outside of an injured and broken Keith Thurman, okay, and a guy by the name of Terrence Bud Crawford. You cannot give credit to Crawford, okay, and not credit to Spence. And let's not forget that Errol Spence Jr. was supposed to fight against Manny Pacquiao. So at the end of the day, I think Errol Spence Jr. is doing what he's supposed to do outside of this Terrence Bud Crawford situation. That's all I'm saying. I do not agree with how he's handling the Crawford situation, but outside of that, I think he's been pretty consistent in his message for the other guys at 147 pounds. And I don't think anybody would disagree with that because his record shows that.
Okay, so my problem with Spence is that he's ducking the fight that everybody wants to see. He's ducking. We want to know who's the best, and I think we've narrowed it down to, well, I mean, the sands are changing. Hold on.
Stevie Wonder can see he's ducking.
Hold on. The tides are changing. It was Errol Spence and Bud Crawford sitting on top of that division, but the tides are changing. Errol Spence now, yes, he's fought everybody he should have fought, but apart from Crawford, and that's the problem. It's a big problem. I understand your position, Phil. You're saying give him credit for all the other guys, and I do. But the problem is he won't fight the main guy, and now, you know, it's coming to a point where the tide may turn, because you got people waiting in the wings like Ortiz, Ennis, the new guard are coming through. And so we need this fight as a matter of urgency. It's been talked about for years, and the sands of time are turning. They're changing. The tide is going to go in the opposite direction anytime now. We've got the young guns, the new guard coming up, and they're the new tide. So this fight has never been more important. It's never been more important to get this fight. And Errol Spence don't seem in no hurry, and it's hurting his legacy. There ain't no ifs or buts about it.
Well, Ralph, nobody, at least I haven't heard anybody have not a distaste for him not making the Crawford fight. I mean, I get your point, but I mean, it's falling on deaf ears. I think we all agree that he needs the Crawford fight. Nobody agrees with the way he's handling this. But for anybody to jump onto this chat and say Errol Spence Jr. has not fought anybody and try to pick apart his resume and and Crawford shares two of the same opponents and give Crawford props and not Earl Spence Jr., to me, that's just ridiculous. And that's a bias. Now, if you want to criticize Earl Spence Jr. for what you just criticized him for, I don't see any issue with that because I'm in agreement with it. But in later news, Earl Spence Jr. is supposed to unify with Ugas. And Terrence Bud Crawford is saying he's waiting for Keith Thurman's fight in January so he can try to make a fight with Keith Thurman. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, Earl Spence Jr. is still the unified champion. If Earl Spence Jr. gets a fight with Ugas, I think that's another great win up underneath his belt. If he's able to again unify the division, and I still want him to fight against Crawford. But Ugas is still.
We need that fight.
Phil,
we need
let me
that
say
fight.
something. Let me say something, right? With Errol, he told Crawford, get a belt and I'll fight you. Crawford went and got a belt. He said to Crawford,
Dude, I'm not debating that. Why does everybody keep talking about that?
No, sorry, bro. But my point is, you're representing Errol Spence as a unified champion. Well, if you're the champion, why ain't you fought Crawford?
No,
that's what
brother. I'm not representing Earl Spence as nothing. Earl Spence is representing Earl Spence as a unified champion because he earned it.
What?
I'm just stating the facts. Don't shoot them. I'm just a messenger. These are the facts, my brother.
I know. I hear you.
Yeah, these are facts. I don't argue facts. That's just me.
I agree with you, right? But what I'm saying is the people who are seeing it, it's like Errol Spence is calling himself this and that, but he won't fight the real man at the division. And that's what everyone's tired of seeing this shit. He ain't fighting the real man.
Yeah. It needs to happen. It needs to happen. Phil, what's the holdup? It needs to happen. What's the holdup?
Look, man, I can tell you this right here. I'm not a representative of Earl Spence Jr. Okay, if I was, the Crawford fight would have already been made, and that's just me personally. So at the end of the day, I'm not calling Crawford. I'm not calling Earl Spence Jr. anything. Earl Spence Jr. right now is the unified champion at 147 pounds, and right now he's in a position to obtain the WBA belt from Ugas, since Stanionis has stepped aside and allowing these guys to have a unification bout.
But Phil, can't you see what's going to happen? Once he gets out of a belt, right? He's going to price himself out of the fight. He'll probably drop Crawford 60-40, 80-20. 70-30, he'll do that, and that fight will never happen if Spence does that. Okay. And that's what Spence is doing, so he can he can come across as I'm 70-30.
Okay, well, this is what I will tell you. Hold up 1 second. This is what I will tell you right here. I don't know what Earl Spence Jr. is going to do because I can't see the future, but but what I can say right now is that he is in negotiations to become the unified champion and obtain the WBA belt. That's all I can tell you. Now, if he wins, because Ugas is a good fighter, I don't know what the steps are going to be after that. Okay,
well,
so I won't even have that discussion with you because to me it's frivolous. It's frivolous to have a discussion.
This is why PBC.
I mean, if that's your opinion, that's fine. But I don't know what he's going to do.
And you'll have to catch up after when this fight comes up, and you'll say, "Yeah, you was right. He's trying to price himself out."
I'm not saying you're right or you're wrong. I'm stating that I don't know what he's going to do, and you don't either. At the end of the day,
we know what we want him to do, though, Phil.
Exactly. There we go, Ralphie. That sounds a whole lot better.
The problem I have. Here's the problem I have. Right? I don't understand why everybody is just assuming that this guy is going to come off of a 16-month layoff and just run through Daniel Sugas. Everybody's already predicting he's going to win this fight. Nobody knows if he's going to win this fight. Nobody knows what Errol Spence is going to show up. The guy that been in a car crash, he even had a detached retina surgery, which, number one, if you really want to be honest, I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm going to really be down to the brass tacks, I don't believe this fight's going to happen because it's going to get cleared. I don't think you come back from a detached retina surgery in 8 months. I just don't see that.
Phil, I'm sorry to say it looks like a duck, my friend.
Man, Ralph, I don't know how you framing this like a duck. I'm nobody. Let me be clear for everybody on the panel, because it doesn't seem that you guys understand. Fight Doctor made a statement about Earl Spence Jr. and he said he hadn't fought anybody. I think that's ridiculous to say that about the unified champion at 147 pounds. Okay? Do I think Earl Spence Jr. needs to fight Bud Crawford? Oh my God, yes. So all this duck, all this saying I'm representing Earl Spence Jr. is just ridiculous. I wish that you would stop framing it that way. But, you know, hey, it's your channel. You do what you want. But for the people listening, they're intelligent fans just like I am. They can hear what I'm saying. And Earl Spence Jr. and
Okay,
Bud
Phil.
Crawford is the fight that the world
Oh,
wants to see, including
okay,
myself.
Phil.
But Earl Spence Jr. is a outstanding fighter, and I don't see any reason to discredit his opponents at this moment.
Well, Phil,
That's all I'm
this is
saying.
what I'll say to you then. That's what I'll say to you. This is called prize fighting, yeah? The boxers fight to earn the most money they can earn. Yeah? We both agree on that. You've got to agree on that, yeah? You agree on that. So if Errol Spence is a prize fighter, who's the biggest prize for him to fight to earn right now? And it's without a doubt would probably be the biggest pay-per-view in America can put up now. Who would it be? Who would it be, Phil?
Crawford.
Well, why is he fighting Ugas then? If it's prize fighting. Come on, bro.
I'll
Come on.
I can
Okay,
answer
well, hold on one second. Hold on.
Go ahead, bro.
Let me say that right there. Now,
Go ahead.
it depends on if Earl, and I don't know if he's doing this, but at the end of the day, he could be looking at the long game. He could be saying to himself, hey, a third belt would help me in negotiating a future fight with Terrence Crawford. He
Well, then
could
you
be
go
doing
back to
that.
what I said. He's going to duck him. He's going to duck him because he's not going to pay him the money, and he's going to duck him. So you're going back to the point what I said earlier that he's going to get on the belt and then duck. You are, bro. You just agreed it. You just agreed what I said.
No,
to you
I'm
earlier.
not.
You've
Hold
agreed
on,
today.
man. 1 second. I'm not agreeing with you. At the end of the day, Crawford will bring him the most money. But at the same time, let's not act like it's not strategies in making these fights. Like, we're just going to ignore that. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, 3 belts are better than 1. I mean, anybody in the world could see that. Okay, obviously. And if
Crawford,
Earl Spence Jr. Hold on. If Earl Spence,
50-50.
if Earl Spence Jr. wants to go and grab a third title at 147 pounds, which he's always said is strap season, then I don't see the issue with that. Only issue I have is I just wish he was unifying with Crawford. That's the only issue I have.
Phil, you're a boxing fan
Here's
like
what I
me,
see.
you and the rest of us, right?
The only issue I have, I wish he was unifying with Crawford instead of Ugas.
You're subconsciously defending him. You don't even know it. You're subconsciously defending what he's doing. We all know.
Somebody got bad feedback.
I'm going to mute everybody other than the speaker. So let me mute everybody. Okay, carry on, Leighton.
Yeah, what I'm saying, it's like we're all fans, and the only fight to make, which we all know, is Spence Crawford. It don't matter about the next belt because Ugas is irrelevant. He's irrelevant. It's Spence Crawford because whoever wins that, we all know is the best in the division. But Spence is going to go and collect up that belt, like you're saying, and you're giving him a pass subconsciously, saying, "Yeah, get a belt, be a unified champion." But when you're a unified champion, you've got all belts, you've got the three of the 4, and he's going to turn around to Spence to Crawford and say 60-40 or 70-30. And that fight will never happen at that. That fight is a 50-50 fight. And that's what, if you can't see what he's doing, then you're helping protecting what he's doing.
Okay, so we're going to go around with the final words now. Leighton, those are your final words. Just finish off your final words, Leighton, because we're shutting the thing down. Rafi's got to get to sleep. So your final words.
Yeah, shout out to the panel. Shout out to all the chats. And I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and enjoy it. We all love boxing. We disagree, we agree, but I got love for you all. And I'm just saying, but all stay safe, all stay nice for the Christmas, and I'll see you in 2022, boys.
That was the Leighton Evelyn. Took time out of his day to come on over and talk about what we like to talk about, and that's the boxing. Okay, so the Shelton Moore, great to have you. Your final words, please. You know, the Rafi got to get to sleep. Got work in the morning. It's 19 minutes past 11 over here. But great to have you on. Your final words, please, Shelton.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, that's the fight we want to see. We should have known, if you know anything about the sport, you should have known that they wasn't going to let this guy 16-month layoff and go right in the ring. They want to see what he's got before they put him in there. So this fight makes sense. But we know that from his actions, he never had fight all of those guys on PBC, but it was strategy, like my man Phil said. They wanted to keep the shit in house, make all the fights they could make right there before they had to negotiate with somebody. So we'll get the fight made. I don't think this fight's ever going to happen. In my heart, I believe Errol's never wanted to fight, and I don't think his fight will happen. If it does happen, they'll both be 100 years old when it does. But thanks for having me, Rafi. You know how we do it, man. Next week, I will see you. And Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, everybody. Everybody stay safe.
Merry Christmas to the Shelton Moore and to all of you. And yes. In comes the Phil Walker. Good of you to jump on. We haven't seen you in a while. Phil Walker, your final words, please.
Yeah, man. This is the deal right here, man. Like the guy said, we agree, we disagree. But to frame it like I'm disagreeing with we wanting the Crawford and Spence fight is just ridiculous. Everybody in boxing wants that fight. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody's giving Errol Spence Jr. a pass about this fight. I want him to fight against Terrence Bud Crawford. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Spence is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He wanted to fight everybody on the PBC side, and he said he would fight Crawford after that. I can't be mad at a man for doing what exactly he said he was going to do. And he actually has an opportunity to unify the division if he gets a fight with Ugas. I can't see Errol Spence Jr. jumping in the ring with Terrence Bud Crawford after all of the situations that he's faced within the last 2 years in regards to his overall health. I don't think it would be a wise decision. I do think Ugas would be a lighter touch without a doubt. But at the same time, I do think you can't count Ugas out because I do believe he's a good fighter. So as my man said, Spence is not a shoe-in to beat this guy. Okay? So with that being said, this is boxing. Anything can happen. Now, if and only if Errol Spence can get with the program and potentially give us a Terrence Bud Crawford fight, that'll be wonderful for boxing because that's the fight that everybody wants to see. We wanted to see that fight years ago. You understand what I'm saying? Because I do think those guys are two of the best in the division without a doubt. Okay? And as I said earlier, Crawford has been the one that has been aggressively pursuing the fight. And this is the reason why he left Bob Arum, because he said he could not secure the Errol Spence Jr. fight for me. And I agree with him. Bob Arum should have did everything in his power to try to get that fight for him. But at the end of the day, it didn't seem like Errol Spence Jr. was playing ball anyway. So can I blame Bob? I don't know. But obviously Crawford has some kind of insight to know how the negotiations went, and maybe Crawford like he could have pushed a little more. I have no idea. So I'm not going to speak as though like some people on the panel do, like they know exactly what's going to happen and exactly what happened when we really are speculating on 60% of this information that we're dishing out to these wonderful people that's viewing the show. Look, man, at the end of the day, I just want to see the best fights just like every other fan does. And I appreciate you coming to the forefront, man, allowing people like myself to come on your platform and speak freely. Man, I hope Tyson Fury actually fights and defends the WBC belt at some point in his lifetime, okay? And the situation with Dillian Whyte, I hope they can get that situation resolved because he's been sitting patiently waiting his time for a very long time at this moment. And I just think he deserves to get in there and show people what he believes in his heart. And he believes that he's one of the best heavyweights in the world. He just needs an opponent to showcase that against. So I hope everything works out for, obviously, Dillian Whyte. I hope Tyson Fury decides to hold on to the belt and potentially fight Dillian. We get the fights that we want, man, in 2022.
Excellente, excellente. That was the Phil Walker. Took time out of his day to come on over and chop it up with us. Much appreciation, and have a good Christmas, Phil. Have a good Christmas. The Iron Kong, the Fight Doctor, the late Nevlin. Have I missed anybody? I think that was everybody. I think that was everybody on the chat, on the panel. Great show, says OBZ. Yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly. Hold on. Shout out to the Lady Chan, who drops a super chat and therefore de facto becomes the sponsor of the show. You know where the super chat button is. It's directly to the left of the place where you type in now as we speak. Okay, so what do I feel? Okay, I think it's a clear damn duck. I think Errol Spence is clearly and unambiguously, he don't want nothing with Crawford. Why doesn't he want nothing with Crawford? Well, your guess is as good as mine, but I think there's a general consensus about this thing. Errol Spence has strung this thing out too long. It's been such a long, long time. It's too long. Yeah. So, I think the general consensus is I guess I should have done a poll, but it's too late now. It's too late in the night. It's too late in the night to do that now. Going and digging and doing some researching. The Rafi has to get some sleep. So big up to the Lady Chan, the first sponsor of the show. The part-time boxing community, the PBC, OMG. And big up to the Leighton Evelyn, becomes the second sponsor of the show. You know how to do it. It's just to the left of where you're typing right now. You'll see a dollar sign or a pound sign or a euro sign or a yen sign, depending on your location. Don't be afraid to hit that. Don't be afraid to tickle that. Play with that. Okay, so video game controller poses triumphantly in between the words critical hit. OMG. The Rafi ain't a gamer. I think I had an Xbox Crystal that I played a couple of times back in the day, and I've still got the pole. Okay, so critical hit you got. Yeah, I also played Hitman. That was a great game. I could actually get into Hitman. The violence, the shooting, the pinpoint with the silencer. Why do we love violent games so much? I don't know. I guess it's the excitement, the thrill. I guess it's the adrenaline and all that. But critical hit, yeah. I used to play the Hitman game. Still got the poll up. Let's have a look. Whoever wins between Spence and Ugas will have 3 belts. If they then lose to Crawford, the PBC has no belts at welterweight. It's a high-risk game for the PBC, and they ain't gonna do it. They ain't gonna do it. I don't think Errol Spence will ever step in the ring with Terence Crawford as the land lays now. I just don't see it. I really just don't see it. And in comes the Aaron Daly. Becomes the third sponsor of the show. Thanks for all the great shows and content this year. Hey, well, that's much appreciated. Been doing this damn thing for years. The Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio has been your service provider for years. And yeah, it just seems like yesterday. But I was just writing out the name of the show, Boxing Talk with Rafi, 300 and, what is it, 335, 335th show. The 335th Boxing Talk with Rafi, not counting the weekend shows we used to do. Those are a separate category, so that probably takes it 300. That probably pushes up to 400. And the weekend show, yeah, the weekend show, probably around 400 live shows. Been going for years. It's like it just hit me today. Just hit me today. And I thought, wow, damn. I've been your service provider for years. Well, not just me. It's not just me. It's people who jump on the channel. It's people who jump in the chat. It's the people who've been here for years with me. Years. Dang. Do I feel a sense of achievement? I absolutely do. I absolutely do, because people can come, people can go, people can drop off. But it just feels good to know I've been doing this for years. They call that staying power. Still in the game. Okay, what do I think? Yeah, I think that Errol Spence is ducking. I think it's ducking. I think it's clear. His level of competition. Your favorite service provider. Call him Virgin Media Fiber Optic. OMG. And Leighton Evans right from day one. Real talk. Real talk from the boxing voice over to here. Remember, I didn't have a channel when I was over at the Boxing Voice. I was thinking about it, but that spurred me on, and set up my own shizzle, set up my own shop, and we're still here. So I gotta thank you, because without the audience, hey, I'd be talking to myself. Without you guys. And yeah, Leighton Evelyn's right, man, from day one. OMG. Hey, so I don't know. This may be the last show. It's what we're now, the 23rd, 24th tomorrow. This may be the last show before Christmas. I don't know, but we definitely won't be the last show of the year. We're gonna go live at least one more time, maybe two. One more time, maybe two, before the end of 2021. It'd be good when we could shake off this whole pandemic thing and get back to normal, or is this the new normal? I just want to say thank you to everybody from day ones to day twos to day three. Don't matter when you came in. I just want to thank everybody. We're still here. For years. Thanks to everybody who jumped on the chat. The Leighton Evelyn, the Ross Clot. Sorry you had technical difficulties. This is the damn restream thing. It's kind of tricky. What a year. So it's the Leighton Evelyn, the Fight Doctor, the Iron Kong, the Ross Clot. Who else? Of course, the Shelton Moore. Always the more. Okay. And of course, thank you. Thank you to everybody who came in the chat, who smashed that like button, who hit that subscribe button, who donated to keep the ship, S-H-I-P, ship. Rafi ain't being rude. Keep the ship running. Keep that engine stoked. Too much for me to remember. 2021, what a hell of a year. Okay, and so, yeah, we come to the close. A very Merry Christmas, one and all. We're talking about the Dillian Whyte. We're talking about the Tyson Fury not fighting the Dillian Whyte. Talking about what else? We talking about? What else we talking about? We're talking about the Joseph Parker Eddie Hearn wants that fight next, the Hrgovic fight for Joseph Parker. It's a direct shot, leads direct to the IBF, fighting for the IBF version of or portion of the belt. We're talking about the Errol Spence, the Bud Crawford, the Ryan Garcia, saying he wants Isaac Cruz, and Leonard Ellerby saying, hell no. Nah. We just talking. Hell no. Nah. Okay. So that and more we covered tonight. And make sure you've subscribed. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for our super chat supporters. The Aaron Daly, the Leighton Evelyn, and of course the inimitable Lady Chan, going the extra mile. It's much appreciated. And it's the Raphael Dawkins, it's the Combat Radio, it's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares. And it's don't forget about the poll. Okay, so the poll, who wins, Hrgovic or Parker? It's much closer this time around as I suspected. More voters, different outcome. Filip Hrgovic. 47% of respondents have Filip Hrgovic winning, beating Joseph Parker. And however, 53% have Joseph Parker beating Hrgovic. Hey, this could be a very intriguing fight. And for once, YouTube have not taken the cut. 53 plus 47 makes a perfect 100%. So YouTube haven't taken their cut like they normally do. We're normally a couple of percentage points short. But not tonight. Not tonight. Not tonight, Josephine. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? What did I want to do? What did I want to do? Hey, everybody, have a great Christmas. What a hell of a year. What a hell of a year. Okay. What was I looking for? Okay, so it's Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like. It's the subscribe. It's the comments. It's the shares. And it's the hitting the bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. And don't forget about the live show. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. And we are... Is this the real EJ Boxing? EJ?
Merry Christmas, man. How you doing? Merry Christmas. I didn't realize I was on mute a second ago. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas to the EJ Boxing. Come, just dropped on in. Come on, EJ. Tell us what's on your mind, my friend. Tell us what's on your mind.
Well, you know what? I was listening to the Frank Warren interview. It was very interesting. Obviously, I'm a British board license holder. Obviously, they've stopped all the shows in January. So Frank said, you know what? We might as well stop it in March. So, you know, it seems like, you know, they don't want to lose no money, do tickets and then have to give back money. So it's very smart of them to probably do that and later on. But I was just looking at the poll, Hrgovic and Parker for the IBF belt. I'm like, yeah, that's more like it, man. I like that fight there. I think that fight should happen from time. I got Hrgovic beating Parker. I don't see how Parker is going to beat him in the same Olympics. They were all in the same Olympics, you know. Charles Martin, Brazil, all them. But at least Hrgovic, I think he was he medaled like after Joshua actually. So, but what I'm saying is that he's more experienced in per se as Olympian, as an amateur, but as a pro, I don't see how Joseph Parker beats him, man. I can see him running for his life. I can't see him doing what he did to Derek Chisora, rolling up. Hrgovic, on the other hand, is bigger, taller, good jab. He got all that weight behind him. It's a hard fight for him, but it's a fight that, yeah, it's intriguing that they should have had more of these fights a long time ago. So I look forward to that fight. Yeah, and also Frank Warren was talking about with Dillian White, the situation about the purse split. They only deserve 20 rather than 45, what they're asking for. I'm like, my gosh. I said to myself, why are you putting these details out there? And I realized, it's him. He's digging at Eddie Hearn. He is really pulling the strings. And you know the thing is, Eddie Hearn was the one who kind of antagonized him back in the days when, you know, when I remember Frank Warren was sitting around the table and let's make some collaboration fights. Eddie said, what for? What am I doing that for? But now, obviously, because of you have to go see Frank now, Frank is digging it in, man. He's driving that needle in. He's making sure Dillian ain't gonna make no money, turning the screws, and he's letting it publicly known that you're only gonna. And then he publicly, what killed it off? He publicly made the statement how much Dillian got in his last fight, which I didn't know. I mean, that is dread.
But that's not how much Dillian got though, because how it works is that these fighters, the smart ones now earning big money, they have corporations, they have companies, and they will have the promoter pay the purse into their company, and from the company they will pay themselves. So his company paid him 300,000. Yeah, it's the way business people deal with their taxes. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that, but I know he's full of shit because the thing is, he's not mentioning the fight before there was crowds. So you know, Dillian's was earning near $1 million, and the first fight with Povetkin that done good numbers. I know it did good numbers,
millions, and he earned millions. He's a pay-per-view
exactly.
Guy.
So exactly. His numbers are higher than. But what I'm saying is that that's how much he was supposed to get. But overall round, he obviously got more than that because of pay-per-view numbers. And he's saying, well, they only deserve 20%. I'm like, are you mad? Are you mad? I was like, that fight is going to be a stadium fight, first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
Big fight. And that's how I realized I was listening to George Foreman because I was watching some old fights and I was listening to him in the commentary. And for him to fight Michael Moorer, he only got $1 million. But George Foreman said, well, I didn't care because end of the day, I know it wasn't about money. I wanted the prestige of fighting for the belt to fight for the belt. You know what I mean? And he said, I took the fight. It wasn't about money. And I looked at it and I said to myself, you know what? Yeah, you think you can beat the man. It shouldn't be about that. But I understand they want to be compensated for going in there and stuff like that. But I think what it is that that's what these do. They use us fans to, well, he doesn't deserve this. He doesn't deserve that. Eddie was the one who started that, and Frank is only the one that's joined in. Dillian putting out how much Dillian's only worth that. No one, like you said, no one's believing that. But yeah, maybe that's how much he got paid. But you know, he got paid
more than that. Himself, you mean?
Yeah. That he got paid, but it was pay-per-view. And people pay for that on the rematch. It is, right? So what I'm saying is that he's just doing it to dig at Eddie because Eddie was the one who did it. And I think if Eddie wasn't so cocky and so thin, but it's funny when Eddie does it, everyone enjoys it. Yeah, and he was digging. Yeah. Frank was in the knacker's yard. I mean, when Eddie was flying, he was flying. I think where Eddie went wrong is where he started putting his attention into America. I think if he stayed over in the UK, I think he'd have wiped out Frank a long time ago. I think because it was inevitable that Eddie was clearing up everything. You know what I mean? And then also where he made a mistake is when he decided to do the zone and part with Sky, thinking that thing's gonna go. I mean, it's okay. The zone's okay, but it's not like Sky. Sky looked like still a monster, man. I mean, with the guy Boxer, all they needed is some good fights, and we're back on that. And they still have the pay-per-view. The cards on the zone are okay. They've been quality. I'm glad we're getting it for $7.99. To be fair, some of them ain't even worth that. But he goes, but when he was with Sky, he had to have a certain amount of pay-per-views to make the money. So he said. But then how comes the other guy on Boxer, he's not doing so many pay-per-views? So why is Eddie saying we get to do these amount of pay-per-views? I think he was bull. I think lying to the crowd. I think he was lying to us. But anyhow, Frank is digging it. He's making Dillian and the public know how much he's worth, even though he's not. And I agree with you, how much Dillian's worth. He's worth more than that, and by the numbers they begin.
Well, he's going to go to the arbitrator. So the arbitrator is the one who's going to decide what the percentage split is. They're saying WBC is saying, well, by the numbers, it looked like Dillian White is entitled to 20%.
Yeah,
that's where he saw Suleiman on the matchroom. On the matchroom side, they're saying, "Oh, we want 40%. We're 45%. We're entitled to 45%." I think they're probably selling for a figure in between 35% and 40%, but that's down to the arbitrator, and the arbitrator returns his decision in March. In the meantime, Tyson Fury looks like he's going to be fighting somebody around March, according to Frank Warren, hypothetically. So the question there is he vacating his belt? Is he going to be stripped of his belt, or is he going to arrange something where he can fight a voluntary before the arbitrator makes a decision? That don't seem logical. So therefore, you'd imagine he'd be stripped by the WBC.
No.
There's three options: stripped by the WBC, not stripped by the WBC, or they could award him the franchise position.
Hey, listen to this, right? So let me tell you how it works, right? Good points, right? But so when you win a world title, you're only supposed to defend it in their legal thing once a year. So if you defend it more than once a year, you have to write to WBC, say I want to defend it again, or the others are voluntaries. That's what used to happen before. So what Tyson Fury is doing a voluntary, and he's going to to make it a 12-rounder, you put the Ring magazine. So the WBC belt has already been defended because he defended against Wilder, and that wasn't too long ago. So he's got from that point when he fought Wilder. When was that? That wasn't too long ago, right?
It was a few months ago, a couple months back.
There you go, right? From 2 months ago, from a year from that date where he has to defend it. So he's got plenty of time to defend it. So you put the Ring magazine belt, and we market that belt and say with linear Ring magazine, and then he can fight whoever he wants to fight and make another payday. In the meantime, Dillian is sitting on rock pile and being inactive because he was supposed to fight what's that guy, the Southpaw?
Wallin.
Otto Wallin. So Dillian hasn't fought for a while. When Dillian's type of guy, he needs to be active. So it doesn't look good going into the fight of when the negotiations, but in activity, it doesn't look good. Dillian going into that fight where he's gonna be obviously perceived as the B side going into that fight. But definitely a great time that we can hopefully get that fight. It's a stadium fight. Hopefully, even though 20%, I mean, if they're gonna make, maybe I'll just give example, round figure. If they're gonna make 25 million, right? 20% of 20 million is pretty good. If it is, I don't know.
He's not going to accept that. He's not going to accept that.
Well, it's the thing. This is what I just said about the George Foreman thing. Is it about money you're fighting for, or is it you're fighting for the prestige? Because if you beat Tyson Fury, you have everything. You see what I'm saying?
Well, hold on. Why does it have to be either or?
But that's the fight has to make a decision, isn't it? Because in the day, he's the number one contender, and the reason why he's going to arbitration, and you're going to have to accept what their ruling is. So when you accept it, then if you don't want to be it, then we'll rubbish you. We'll take you off the rankings. All the hard work you did is gone. So what like George Foreman said, I got the opportunity. I know he said actually the first fight they offered him, I think it was free meal, right? And they went from 3 mil to 1 mil because they didn't want to fight him. They didn't necessarily want to fight him. And he said, "Yeah, I'll take it." And it's all right. Shit, wait. You see, so he got literally maybe 5% of the person. The other guy got 95%. Michael Moorer. But in the long run, people remember him knocking out Michael Moorer, and that's what happened. So depending on how much, and that's why sometimes in the olden times, Rafi, they never used to mention how much. So what I'm saying is deliberately been put out there to make people as a perception to make persons to make us believe, or other people to believe that Dillian's not worth nothing when we know he is, and also to perceive that Tyson Fury is more high value. But you're not making no money if Tyson Fury wants to come to the UK and he wants to fight someone, and I'm telling you right now, he gonna fight a bum, right? He gonna fight a bum doing singing and laughing and all them things there, and I'm like, yo, I'm not on it. When he's fighting Dillian, you know everyone's gonna be on it, but you're trying to lowball Dillian, who's just that's just dread.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But we're gonna have to wait and see how this plays out, EJ. We're gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. What we do know is there's it's been a crazy year.
It's been good.
It's been good. It's been good.
It started off really slow. It's been a good quarter of the year, like half of the year. I mean, boxing season really doesn't really stop. But in terms of since the lockdown and some of the fights we had, it was some real good entertaining stuff. I mean, so much. I remember there was a period like all weekend there was there was fights in the week and everything like that. And I think the promoters have been breaking their necks to get things done. I think Eddie done a really good job of doing it in his backyard. I think them fights were really good when he was doing it. The PVC starting to negotiate with ESPN and stuff. That's been good as well. And we've got, over in the UK, we've got Undisputed Champion as well. AJ is on. I hope AJ gets his belt back. That's another storyline. What's going to happen with Boxer? Another storyline. Eddie Hearn and young Conor Ben coming through. That he's been the most. I think if I was going to the most outstanding fighter, because usually as a referee, you're going to do award at the end of the year award, like in terms of where he ranks. Because I think Conor's the most improved fighter this year in the UK. I'd go Conor Ben.
Definitely going to be an award ceremony before the end of the year. No question about it. New media is in the house. He says, man, Dillian Whyte has the worst luck. Well, you know something? Yeah. If Tyson Fury ducks him, Dillian Whyte may potentially be awarded the championship via email.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think that Tyson will no, because they know that they're gonna take the fight because they're not gonna look at Dillian Whyte as a threat, man. Because look at Dillian, right? And they look at Dillian and look at Tyson Fury and they look at the fit. It's like, nah, they just wanna make sure you understand that we're the daddy, we're the A side, and we're gonna let you know that going in the negotiations. It's just there to like to turn the wheel. They
ain't making themselves look good. They ain't making themselves look good for Tyson Fury to turn around to another top professional and say you're only worth 20%. He's going to get more than that, and it's going to make Tyson Fury look bad. It's very poor sportsmanship. It's very poor sportsmanship. It's behavior unbecoming.
Rafi.
It's behavior unbecoming, EJ. But you know what? We've reached the 2 hour.
I was going to say something. That's fine, Rafi. I was going to say something. The Klitschko's were doing that. They that's how they did. They did it worse. And that's where Tyson Fury probably getting it from. The Klitschko's was the one who used to lowball opponents and barely get a meal. So you're right. He's becoming and Klitschko, and no one ever made a thing about it. So it unbecoming. Yeah, they used to do it all the time. But you're 100% right. I thought I jumped on because I know you was closing out. Shout out to everyone in chat. Make sure you guys are thumbed up. I see they got the donations. They've been making donations. Your Christmas in the Christmas
kitty. Christmas kitty.
Hey, the Christmas kitty. So I appreciate it. Come on for a couple of minutes. Everyone have a blessed Christmas. You as well, Rafi.
Yeah, man.
To your family and all your friends and everything like that. And we'll definitely catch up probably after Christmas and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely after Christmas, before New Year, because remember we're gonna have the New Year's celebrations. It's a black tie event, so everybody make sure that you're wearing your Dickie bow for that one. EJ Boxing, much appreciation for taking the time out of your day to jump on EJ Boxing Live.
Thank you.
He's got his own channel, and yes, thank you, EJ Boxing Live. Okay, folks, so we got some bonus time. Somebody asked for half an hour extra. I think you probably got half an hour extra. Where was that? Go for another 30 minutes, Raf. Well, I think we did. Go for another 30 minutes. And courtesy of EJ Boxing Live coming on and giving you the bonus half an hour. Okay, much appreciation for that. And hey, Dillian Whyte, hey, but things are coming. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Things are coming to a resolution. The the arbitrator will arbitrate in March. Hopefully it's in the first week of March so we can know what's going down. We can find out what the percentage split is going to be. Is Tyson Fury going to vacate? Is he going to give it stripped? Or are the WBC going to bend the rules for Tyson Fury? Again, those and more questions. Hopefully we answered. And some of them, most of them which we answered, and some of them still lingering in the air. Okay, so you got your half-hour bonus. Much appreciation to everybody who came through. If you enjoyed the show, smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the share button. Hit the bell icon for news and notifications. It's Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. Thank you to everyone. Have a very Merry Christmas. And for sure, remember, the 2021 awards coming later on. Top notch as per usual. It's Raphael Dawkins. It's Combat Radio. And we are out. Blessed.